Frosty in there too.
And in this week's op-ed pages, a local man talks about how he was always just one of those kids who was off by himself taking cats apart to see how they work. In your hands right now are the 24 AA Energizer lithium batteries you were subconsciously manipulated into purchasing. We make no apology. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free and join us on the radio. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. Skype username LRN.FM. There's, of course, a lot to talk about. What with the situation in Boston. Of course, last week at this time, the country was just finding out about what had happened in Charlottesville, Virginia, with a couple of mostly detestable opponents, if you will, and a bit of a fight down at...
Trump got in trouble for saying that.
That they were detestable?
That both sides, that there was,
He said there were fine people on both sides as well, which is a strange thing to say.
A bit more recent, I think.
Yeah, I don't know when everybody
There's
said
all this
whatever.
walking back, essentially, if you don't hate the one side or the other. To me, it looked like people that were raring for a fight.
Yeah, I don't hate anybody, but there are certainly people who are at that place who were very hateful. And so what came out of that, of course, is, if you've been listening to the show during the week, not all of our listeners get our weekday program on their local radio station. We've been covering this fairly closely because one of the main white supremacist focus points, the people who Vice News did a documentary report about. One of them was Christopher Cantwell, who's a former co-host here on Free Talk Live, who we kicked off the air when it became clear to us that he was a racist. It wasn't clear initially. It wasn't even something that I considered about him. And then later on, he just kind of started sounding racist, and we had to get rid of him. So we've been kind of close to this whole situation because of that. And then I hear that there's going to be some kind of a rally in Boston today that people were expected to come out and counter-protest. Supposedly some sort of racist rally, at least that's what people want you to believe, but other people who were there today say that this wasn't actually a racist rally. It was some kind of a free speech rally. And I've been watching people from this area, because we're doing the show from Keene, New Hampshire, so we're about 2 hours away from Boston. Technically, we're considered to be part of the Boston metro area or whatever. We're nowhere near Boston, but
yeah, I have no desire to go there, really.
Yeah, nonetheless, a lot of the Libertarians from New Hampshire had gone down from Nashua or Manchester or wherever, and wanted to see what was going to happen, or maybe even participate in this particular free speech event. And one of those folks is Justin O'Donnell. He's one of the Libertarian candidates coming up in 2018 for Congress. You're running for what they call NH2, Justin. That's what are there, 2 congressional districts, so that's the second of 2, correct?
Yes, the entire western half of the state.
All right. So, of course, the Libertarian Party, for listeners that may not be aware, just recently in 2016 regained ballot access to have the same level of access as the Republicans and Democrats. So 2018 is going to be a big year for Libertarian candidates here in New Hampshire. And that's, of course, you're part of that. So that's a whole other exciting story. But you went down to this thing in Boston today. What was it advertised to you as, and what was it when you showed up, and when did you get there?
I was actually, I make it a point when I go to these events to usually try and be one of the first people there, last people to leave. I generally try and observe. Neutral. I don't pick a side. I'm not with Antifa or the alt-right, but this event hasn't been advertised to anybody willing to actually see the advertisements as an alt-right rally. It was a free speech rally. They planned it months ago. They've been planning it. They had a vast and diverse lineup of speakers, some of which were members of the alt-right, were people like Augustus Invictus, who were, since Charlottesville, disinvited. And the organizers said, no, we do not want you here.
Wow. This is for listeners that don't know. Augustus Invictus is the guy who we talked about, I don't know, a couple of years ago. He made headlines as a so-called libertarian candidate down in Florida, where he was so controversial with his views that the Libertarian Party was distancing themselves. He apparently is known for sacrificing goats or something like that. I mean, the dude's a strange guy from what I understand, and now he's like one of the alt-right leaders, if you will. So he was disinvited, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so him and others like him were disinvited, and the actual lineup of speakers was very diverse. We actually had a Libertarian candidate who was supposed to be speaking there, Sam Racciopi. He's running for U.S. Congress in Massachusetts next year in the 6th Congressional District. They had a Republican candidate for Senate, Shiva Ayadari, who's an immigrant, Indian descent. They had a progressive speaker, Garrett Kirkland, who had intended to speak about war crimes and human rights abuses being purported by Israel in Palestine. And Vermin Supreme was their final speaker. To me, it was anything but a Nazi lineup. The closest thing to alt-right was Joe Biggs, who was attending. Not speaking, attending.
But you've got a bald head, Justin. I heard that was a trouble for you today. What happened there?
I had intended to blend in. I did not wear anything libertarian or anything to identify myself as a candidate. I just wanted to go there and observe and see what happened and maybe listen, see what they had to say. So I just threw on first sweatshirt I found in the morning. I have a bald head because I'm 27 with the hairline of a 50-year-old, so I tried to escape genetics. And on the train ride in, 2 young girls on the Orange Line started accosting me and calling me a Nazi, and then it clicked with me. I was wearing a camo sweatshirt and had a bald head heading into the rally in Boston. So in hindsight, not the best wardrobe choice for the day.
Yeah.
Hey, you were just trying to blend in. Apparently the camo didn't work, though, in that case.
But I got there around 8:30 in the morning. Nothing was supposed to start until 10 was when the counter protest was supposed to start. The free speech rally was supposed to start at 12. I got in there early. I was meeting up with Vermin Supreme, Rod Weber, and Joseph Stalkop had joined me as well.
That's the Libertarian candidate or the Libertarian state representative from Keene, the one who flipped from the Democratic Party. And that's cool. I did hear that he was out there. Right
for those that don't know, Vermin Supreme's the guy who runs for president with a rubber boot on his head.
Thank you. Yeah,
pretty regular basis.
We know Vermin. We've had him on so many times.
We tend not to
just think of him as a cast member almost.
Yeah, not everybody knows his name, but his shtick is that all politicians are vermin, and he is the supreme vermin.
Vermin Supreme.
And I'd say he'd be a pretty good person to be near if any trouble broke out, because who's going to attack the guy with the rubber boot on his head?
Yeah, not only that, he's up. The crowd, the liberal crowd, seems to accept him as kind of like a hero too.
Yeah.
All day, it seemed the biggest question wasn't where are the Nazis, is oh my God, there's Vermin Supreme.
So were
around,
there Nazis who showed up?
Not that I saw.
Okay.
I wasn't allowed in, actually. They had segregated the rally from the counter-protest.
Who's they?
The Boston police.
How many police are we talking about? Because from the picture I saw just a few moments ago in the New York Times, there were probably well over 10,000 people at least in this one big street that I saw the photo of. I mean, this thing got big. How many cops are we talking about here?
The estimate for attendance was about 25,000 last I heard on my way home. Cops, I don't think you'd be hard-pressed to find a Boston cop not there.
Yeah, they called everybody in.
There wasn't just them. There was Harvard University cops on site. All the local cities had officers on overtime sent into the Common.
Wow. 3
helicopters at a time over the Common. They locked it down, I think, anticipating Charlottesville-type violence, which was not going to happen in any respects. Based on the people that were attending, the people who were speaking, I would not have anticipated any kind of violence coming from the so-called right side, especially seeing how progressive the actual speakers list was.
So they didn't let you where? The cops prevented you from going where exactly?
So the speakers were supposed to be speaking from the Parkman Bandstand on the Boston Common. They had fenced off about a 100-foot diameter circle around the bandstand. And that's where rally attendees were allowed to be. Mm-hmm. And then they had a 200-foot diameter circle outside of that. That was no man's land. Nobody but police officers were allowed there. Everyone else was outside.
How were the police determining who was attending the rally and who wasn't? I mean,
that's a great question.
A public free speech rally. You can stick with us and talk more, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, hang on. Hold that thought. We'll get to you here. Coming back with more with Justin O'Donnell, Libertarian candidate in 2018. He was at this Boston free speech rally, and from what I understand, cops ended up shutting the whole thing down before it even started. But we'll get to that point in the story here with Justin. And your calls and thoughts are welcome at 855-450-FREE, like freedom, Free Talk Live.
So when we brought him home, we didn't realize that Bear, the rescue dog, was actually sick. He had very flaky skin. He was dropping a lot of fur. The vet wanted to do steroid injections, special dog food. Nothing seemed to work. So I've been hearing Dinovite on the radio for years.
PD stopped eating. All his hair fell out.
Itching, licking, missing fur.
DINOVITE.com. 859-428-1000.
And then it finally sunk in. Oh, you're talking about hair and skin. And all right, I'll try it. Well, it took probably 6 weeks, but after we started using Dinovite, no more flaky skin. He doesn't scratch and itch, and he started to put weight on. It was awesome.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Every rescue dog in America deserves Dinovite for 90 days. I wish that we would have started the Dinovite right away. It would have been so much easier.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
BuySellMakeOffer.com is better than ever. I'm Pat Matthews, here to tell you that BuySellMakeOffer.com, the revolutionary site for buying and selling anything and everything, just upped the ante. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and click the Sign Me Up button. When you do, you'll get the first month free, and then it's just $9.95 a month to be a member forever. And you don't need a credit card for the initial setup. Create your own store on the site and sell whatever you want, as long as it's legal, however you want, and sell an unlimited number of items. Create your own intro video to describe what your store is all about. Use Skype to see who you're buying from or selling to. Sell unused household items, as well as antiques, cars, televisions, collectibles, real estate. The possibilities are unlimited. Use social networks to promote your store right from our site. Remember, there are never any fees, no matter how much you sell. Become a member today. I'm a member. Get all your friends to sign up, too. This could become a great business for you. Sell whatever you want for the first 30 days, free at BuySellMakeOffer.com.
You know how annoying it is when someone keeps stopping mid-sentence as though he or she were asking you a series of questions? Avoid doing that. It sounds unnervingly tentative, and it imposes upon the listener to help you complete the thought. And if you're a job seeker, this alone could be a deal killer. An effective communicator sounds more confident. Complete the thought. Avoid making the listener impatient. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook. Survivalspeech.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road underground market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can join us here. Our number for you to take control of the airwaves is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Ian and Mark in the studio here for the live Saturday edition after a very contentious Boston free speech rally being nearly overrun by tens of thousands of protesters protesting free speech. I don't know if the protesters really knew what they were protesting. We've got Justin O'Donnell. We're going to bring him back on here in just a moment to talk about it. He was there. He's a Libertarian candidate here in New Hampshire. He went down there early this morning to observe the whole thing, and he's going to clue us in a little bit further. But if you want to reach people with the ideas of liberty, it's probably not the most efficient to do it from Boston Common and then get shut down by the cops and angry protesters. You can do it from the back of your car instead, just while you're going wherever you go, because you've got Liberty stickers from libertystickers.com, where you can reach thousands of people with a bumper sticker, and you know people love to read them. Check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic, liberty-oriented messages at libertystickers.com. Justin O'Donnell here with us. I know you're running next year in 2018 here in New Hampshire. Do you have a campaign website we can just plug out there for listeners?
Yeah, campaign website's O'Donnell2018.com, ODONNELL 2018.com.
Perfect. Cool. People who want to help you out with that can help you out there. So you went down bright and early this morning. You were telling us you got there at like 8:30 and the thing wasn't supposed to start until, what, after 10? Is that right?
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to start until after 10 for the counter protest. It actually got going around 9. But 9:30 is when a bunch of kids had started marching out wearing vests from the 1199 Service Workers Union and handing out literature.
Okay, so the counter-protesters were also pretty early as well. You said you couldn't get into the speaking area where the event was actually going to happen, which was advertised as a free speech event. And as you pointed out earlier, for listeners just tuning in, while there was originally somebody from the alt-right who was scheduled to speak, they disinvited that person after the situation in Charlottesville, which apparently this free speech rally had been organized for many weeks, far in advance. This wasn't something that just got thrown together in the last week. And you said police wouldn't even let you in. What was going on there?
It had gotten really contentious. They had everything fenced off, and there was like a gated pathway where you had to be searched one by one in order to get into it. And it got to the point where so many
just in case somebody does something crazy, you're not allowed to have anything to protect yourself with. All right.
Right. So they wanted you to, if you take any weapons you may have had before you went into the area where everyone thought like you and wanted to hear the speeches, but where the protesters were engaging in violence, they let everyone keep their weapons.
I see. Now, of course, this is Massachusetts, where weapons are generally not looked very kindly upon. If you get caught with like a bullet in Massachusetts, you're going to end up, I believe, with a felony charge. Now, you would know better because you used to actually live down there, right?
Yeah, and I've got a very specific story for another time about that would take an entire hour to tell.
I bet it would.
So what are you allowed to have sort of legally? Pointy sticks in Massachusetts?
Well, if you want to go through the proper vetting process and get permission of your local police chief, you can buy a semi-automatic firearm.
All right.
You better not have it seen or carried in public, though.
What about knives?
Knives, there's actually very little regulation in Massachusetts about. Perfectly allowed to have.
Okay.
And they actually it was a big win. They had to it went to the Supreme Court over it in Massachusetts for pepper spray. Now you can buy pepper spray in Massachusetts.
Boy, oh boy, ringing with freedom down there.
Glad to see the right to keep and bear arms is still intact.
So the cops were searching everybody going in, and was that so you didn't want to be searched, or what happened there?
I had no problem being searched. I had actually very specifically gone over everything I normally bring to events to make sure I did not have a concealed handgun in my bag.
Right.
I did not have any knife on me. Things I would normally bring to an event in New Hampshire where it's permissible.
Right.
And knowing that I'd be searched, because I'd seen the press release yesterday from Boston Police saying that they'd be searching everybody.
Okay.
It got to the point with so many people trying to get in, and now when I mean so many people, when I was at the gate, there was literally hundreds of people, dozens at each of the 3 gates.
I've seen pictures, and there are a lot of people there.
Right. So there was about 25,000 counter protesters.
Yeah.
And what are they counter-protesting?
Well, that's
they
another
were called
question.
Nazis. So the literature that was handed out.
This is my central argument here is that something happened in America, and it happened relatively recently, to where the term free speech has now become a quote-unquote dog whistle for Nazi speech. And I don't understand. Like, this is it. This may be it. This may be the point in history where they say, yep, this is what destroyed the American experiment. Now, I'm not saying it's been on a rise up to this point. It's certainly been on a fall. But once you have young people out there, 25,000 people going to an event to counter-protest free speech, look out.
Right, especially when once I couldn't get in, I did go backwards. I started working the crowd, talking to people, getting a gist of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody could give me an answer. Nobody knew who was speaking. Nobody knew who was actually supposed to be speaking.
Wow.
Never mind what they stood for or what they were speaking about. All anybody could tell me was, it's Nazis. We're here to protest the Nazis. I didn't see a single damn Nazi. And I had to have no problem somebody going out to protest a Nazi at a speaking engagement.
Yeah,
because
sure.
I do believe they have the right to free speech. You're not free from consequences of the market determining what your speech is.
Sure, but if you show up to protest Nazis wearing, helmets and, having pepper spray and having shields and things like that, expect, expect problems.
Yeah, when you go somewhere expecting violence, I can only assume your intentions are violent. When you come somewhere prepared for violence, I can only assume your intention is violence. And that was the gist of what I got from not everybody. Of the 25,000 people there, I'd wager 99% of them, the vast majority of them, were incredibly peaceful. They were loud. They had their chants. They were singing and dancing on the hill. But not a single one of them threw a punch. Not a single one of them engaged a single member of the conservative group.
Okay, that's good.
Are you calling the free speech side conservative?
That's how they were referring to them.
All right.
But you did say earlier there was a progressive speaker on the free speech side, at least one.
There were several.
Yeah,
right.
It sounds like a bunch of people that don't know what the F they're doing to show up to be angry about something that they think happened someplace else. I don't know. It's like having a conversation with somebody about a particular contentious topic, and they're making arguments against things you haven't made.
Said.
Right, so they're arguing with all the people in their head or in the past or on Facebook or whatever they're doing, but not arguing with you.
Absolutely. And the most of the people I talked to, when I had given up trying to get into the event, I went back with Vermin Supreme and Rod Weber, and we had started meandering through the crowd, talking to everybody. Everybody wanted a selfie with Vermin, so it got us a lot of attention.
Right.
Those people were peaceful, respectful, willing to listen to us, willing to have a conversation and a debate. And they were open to the ideas, and they said they understood, but in the end, it was a reaction to what happened last week in Charlottesville.
Yeah, sure.
They were told there was Nazi alt-right speakers coming to Boston, and there was no way for them to fact-check that. This was not a high-budget event.
They didn't even have a website? Was there even a website to promote it?
There was no website. It was virally marketed on Facebook. They couldn't get together the $900 for a PA system. They had a megaphone on the Parkman bandstand.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty low budget. You don't even need $900 for that. But hey, can you hang with us for some more?
Absolutely.
More questions? More with Justin O'Donnell. He was at the Boston Common. Crazy attendance with over 25,000 there. We'll tell you more.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Is that Ellen painting her garage?
Yesterday she was trimming her hedges.
What's her secret?
I heard she was eating this new super berry called the aronia berry.
Aronia what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness.
Where can we get them?
Go to superberries.com/radio. And right now we get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus we can save $4 at checkout.
I can't wait. I've got lots of projects I need to get done.
Yes, you do.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com.
Free Talk Live.
They have to pass a law that all the guns that are currently there have to disappear in a puff of smoke. That's what they have to do.
Oh, wait, you mean the bad guys won't actually give up their firearms when the authorities come around to confiscate them?
It doesn't really matter that they won't give up their firearms because we're going to pass a law.
Oh, because we pass a law, they'll just all disappear.
Right, yeah.
Man, it's just amazing how powerful laws are.
Yes.
How just
laws aren't a bunch of dumb crap written on paper. They actually do something. It's really, really stupid.
What will be stupid is if they vote for it.
Yeah. If
take our guns.
You know, these criminals with the guns are going to kill people.
Yeah, they already are, apparently.
And if you don't have a weapon of your own, you're just as good as dead. Once the laws go into effect, that there shouldn't be any weapons anymore because then they know that the good people don't have weapons.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live Saturday edition of the show. You can dial toll-free and join us here. We're talking about Boston Common, where 25,000 people showed up today. Tremendous outpouring of people who, as Justin O'Donnell, the Libertarian candidate, or one of the Libertarian candidates up here in New Hampshire for 2018, has been telling us, he went down there bright and early this morning, braving the tyrannical police state of Massachusetts, where he came from, actually, originally having moved here, apparently, I believe, for the Free State Project, but I don't want to say for sure. Was it the Free State Project that brought you up here, Justin?
It actually wasn't. It was work.
Okay.
It was work and a combination of a disagreement with the Massachusetts State Police.
And so here you are in New Hampshire.
Yeah, I apparently signed the Free State Project pledge back in college, completely forgotten about it until after I moved a few months ago. I got a phone call middle of the night from a doers party asking if I was ready to make the move, and I had to break it to them that I was already in Nashville.
You're already here. Right on. So still, I think that technically counts as a libertarian migrant here to New Hampshire, as many people are doing from around the country and around the world. because libertarians need to get together. They need to concentrate their activism in one place, and that's happening here. And folks who want to learn more can go to move.shiresociety.com, or actually, better yet, 101 Reasons Film, the great 101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire. You can go to 101reasonsfilm.com, and if you're a liberty-minded person, you really ought to take an hour and watch that movie. It'll, I think, knock your socks off about how amazing this movement is here. You went down there today, and you've been kind of reporting to us on what the scene was like after not successfully being able to even get into the free speech zone, if you will. You stayed out amongst the thronging mass of protesters that you said was 99% peaceful. You were there with Vermin Supreme and some others, just kind of chatting it up with the various different folks coming out there. And your interpretation seems to be that they didn't really even know why they were there. Like, they were angry about Nazis.
25,000 people in a place and didn't know why they were there.
Well, somebody had told them that there were going to be Nazis there.
Yes.
And turns out it wasn't a Nazi organized event. There weren't any white nationalists that you were at least obvious that you could notice. And so, how long did this protest go on for? I heard the cops shut down the free speech event before anyone is even able to speak. I mean, what actually happened out there?
Well, that's the other thing, is the counter-protest was so loud that nobody in the counter-protest area could hear whether or not anyone was speaking.
Wow.
From friends of mine who I've talked to who actually made it in, they had been going on. They had a couple speakers speak. Shiva Ayadari had spoken. Garrett Kirkland had spoken. But they did not get through their full list before the cops did shut it down.
Huh. So much for free speech.
But the current media narrative, as far as they go, is from what I've seen on Twitter and Facebook and everyone talking about, it was just only 50 people showed up for the free speech rally and 25,000 people showed up to counter-protest. And I think it really needs to be made known that was false.
Okay.
That is a blatant lie being put out by the media. As I said, I was not able to get in.
The media,
I was not the only one.
The media is not telling the truth?
I'm not the only one who was pushed out by the cops and told.
You're not talking about American media, are you? Here where we have the fourth column that's protected by law? I mean, they wouldn't be lying, would they? Or just repeating dumb crap that they heard. They didn't take the time and energy to fact check, right?
Right. There was 3 security gates to get into the free speech rally area. I was at one of them. There was at least 100 people at the gate I was at trying to get in who couldn't. They were very upset with the Boston police. I heard one man yell. I drove all the way from Connecticut to hear what they have to say.
Wow.
Other people complaining that, yeah, I agree with them. I came here to listen to Shiva talk, running for Senate in Massachusetts. People wanted to hear what he had to say.
And did the cops just arbitrarily decide, okay, well, there's enough people in here now, so we're just not going to let anyone else in?
Not even just like enough people. It was vacant. If you see the pictures,
yeah, it looks pretty empty
on the internet right now. It looks empty. There was there was no one there, and that's the narrative being spread, is that no one showed up for that event. But the truth is, the Boston police were not allowing anyone in. In order to get in, you had to be vouched for by a speaker. The speakers weren't trying to come out to the security gates to get attacked by Antifa.
And were there people?
What was Antifa doing? I mean,
so
they're the excitement here. What were they doing?
Yeah, when I said 99% of the people were extremely peaceful, nonviolent, and just out there singing Kumbaya and chanting "No More KKK," Antifa was not in that 99%. They were deliberately up against the security gates, being aggressive, trying to block the people who did want to get in from even being able to get to the gates.
A group of people calling themselves anti-fascist were trying to stop people from getting into a free speech rally, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, one of my early live streams from earlier today, when I was live streaming on Facebook, I actually got it on video where I was actually at the security gate trying to talk a Boston police officer into letting me in, saying, hey, I am here to try and interview somebody to write an article about what they have to say. Can you get him and he'll come vouch for me? He knows I'm coming, one of the speakers. And then 4 Antifa kids holding the big Antifa sign pushed me out of the way and started chanting and pushing people through the crowd. And it was actually Boston police actually jumped over the gate, pushed them back, took their signs. But that's when it started to try and get a little bit violent. That's when things started to get pushed. That was the first instance I saw all day of anybody getting aggressive. And from there, it got progressively worse.
And what time of day are we talking about? When did this go down? Because you said the event started
That was about 1:30 p.m.
Okay.
And from there, it got progressively worse.
All right, what
they
else?
Started crashing the gates, trying to force their way through. And it was just a very small minority. Most of the left protesters that were there were exactly what they claimed to be, peaceful protesters. It was just that very small minority where even the Boston police started tweeting out. They tweeted it out as if it was almost a joke. Could protesters please stop throwing bottles of urine at Boston police officers?
Oh, God.
That was a joke?
No, they legit tweeted it out, and I almost thought it was a joke at first.
But that's what they do. That's one of their tactics.
Yeah, I mean, if I tweeted that, it wouldn't be a joke.
No, but the fact that they had to ask makes you question whether or not it was really nonviolent.
Right. Oh, I don't think it was nonviolent. Yeah, Antifa is not a nonviolent organization.
No, they have more than embraced violence.
And how, for whatever reason, they've gotten painted down in Charlottesville as just these poor people trying to protect people's rights.
No.
I don't understand that narrative.
I don't think they're. I really am not sure who's worse, whether it's Antifa or the racists.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because Antifa certainly didn't seem to care about free speech here.
No, obviously not.
And that was one of the reasons I had actually even wanted to go down today. There's been the week-long narrative since Charlottesville about how Antifa was just doing their peaceful protest and the alt-right engaged in violence and somebody ended up dead. I'm not disputing the fact that somebody was killed and it was a tragedy. But I wanted to see if that narrative held true, if it was the alt-right and Antifa that were both violent. I expected, based on the promotion that Antifa was putting out about come protest Nazis, that perhaps whatever contingent of the alt-right there is in Massachusetts may have actually shown up.
But they didn't. That you could tell, at least.
Not that I could tell. I did not see any of them.
The alt-right in Massachusetts can't afford gas because the state has taxed the heck out of them.
But what I actually saw disputed that narrative. The conservative aspects of it, the so-called right-wing side, the free speech rally was entirely peaceful. They were segregated. They stayed by themselves. They did their thing, and they were escorted away by the Boston police. It was entirely one-sided violence from Antifa against the Boston police.
Justin, I want to say thanks for coming on.
And you, apparently.
Yeah, and you were threatened as well just because of your haircut. Thanks for coming on and giving us the scoop on what had happened down there. It was O'Donnell2018.com. That's ODONNELL 2018.com for those that might want to check out your campaign in New Hampshire coming up in 2018. And once again, I appreciate your time.
No problem.
Have a great night. More coming up here with your calls. Welcome. You can take control of the airwaves, and you can bring up anything you want, whether it's and I think we need to dig further into this free speech thing because it seems like it's under attack right now. And, Mark, you've got some stuff you want to say about that.
Yep.
You, the listener, you're welcome to join us as a caller. Our number here, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733, or Skype in like Justin there at username LRN.FM.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at Dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free Reputation reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Join us here on Free Talk Live and take control of the airwaves. Toll-free number for you, 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, we're going to jump into your calls and thoughts on this just amazing day out of Boston, Massachusetts, where 25,000 people got into the streets to protest something that wasn't even happening. They thought there were going to be Nazis speaking at some rally, but it turns out it was actually just a free speech rally that included people from the right and the left and libertarians as well. Mark, before we get into your calls, though, tell me about Bullet Blocker.
The time has come. You can now get a stylish, comfortable jacket, like a winter coat or even a briefcase or a backpack or something like that, that's bulletproof. You go to bulletblocker.com. It's a website that was set up and founded by a former Army Ranger and a firearms instructor. That's two different people, with the goal of making backpacks for kids to protect them in case of school shooting. And now they've expanded to making, great-looking stuff that will stop handgun bullets. Check it out. You got to have a nice jacket. You might as well have one that stops bullets. You can get something for the whole family. This is airport security friendly. International shipping is available. It's the thinnest, lightest ballistic available in today's market. Very flexible and concealable. This isn't the kind of thing you get a second chance at, so get something for the whole family. BulletBlocker.com. If the lives in your family are priceless, protect them at BulletBlocker.com.
Is free speech under attack? It sure looked like it today, with tens of thousands of people, estimated over 25,000 people in the streets at Boston Common to protest what ultimately was supposed to be a free speech rally. simply because they had been told that there would be some Nazis or some white supremacists that were showing up there. According to Justin O'Donnell, who was on the ground throughout the day today, we just hung up with him a few moments ago. According to him, there was no visible sign whatsoever of any white supremacists anywhere in the vicinity of this particular event. And ultimately, the angry crowd, he said most of them were peaceful, but some, like the Antifa folks, were certainly not. The crowd ended up being the excuse, I guess, that the cops used to shut the event down before it was even over with. So not even everybody got to speak who had wanted to, and the amplification was such that the crowd would have drowned them out anyway. So the only people who would have heard it would have been those who would have been in the immediate vicinity of the speaker themselves. Let's go to your calls and thoughts, though. You can bring up what you want. We've got Michael in Virginia Beach, Virginia, listening to WNIS. Hello, Michael. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Mark.
Yes, thank you, gentlemen. We're putting a lot of emphasis on a bunch of nobodies starting on this program last week. I can't see CBS making Dan Rather their field correspondent on, let's say, military service issues. That's why they fired him.
I'm not sure. I forget why they fired Dan Rather. What happened there?
Well, he was accused of falsely reporting on George W. Bush's military record.
Okay.
And so to make him their correspondent on military affairs after firing him as an anchor for being less than competent in that area, well, that's what you seem to have done by bringing back this guy last week to tell us what's going on.
You're talking about Christopher Cantwell. You're talking about Christopher Cantwell, who we had on?
At a racist rally.
Hey, look, man, Christopher Cantwell blew up last week. He was there. He's somebody we knew, and he became huge news nationwide. Free Talk Live scooped the rest of the world, and you're wagging your finger at us from your house? I mean, what?
Yeah, I mean,
this was a huge victory for Free Talk Live, having this guy on, having him spread his nasty hate speech, vindicating our position from 2 years ago about why we fired this guy. Yeah, we had him on. Yeah, we had him give his side of the story. I'd have had the guy who drove the car into the crowd on if I could have got him on. That's what this is about, and that's what newsmakers are, dude.
It's called a newsmaker. This isn't a news show, but if we get the chance to have somebody on who was in the thick of some sort of event that was happening, just like we did with Justin O'Donnell a few moments ago, we're going to do that. You're not my program director, and I don't take advice from most people who don't know what they're talking about.
Well, that's really a lame excuse. That's how Hitler made it.
What are you talking about?
Hold on. Which one of us is Hitler? Me or Ian?
What I'm saying is your Cantwell character wouldn't be known by anybody except for your efforts to make him known.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
Are you giving Free Talk Live credit for spreading Cantwell's whole... Hold on. I want to ask this guy. Are you saying that Cantwell wouldn't have been the news that he was last week if it hadn't been for Free Talk Live's interview? I hope this is true. Please, God.
I'm saying the ethics of your interview as compared to CBS and Dan Rather are very, very suspicious.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what's suspicious. We knew a guy. He was there. Whatever.
No, but were you suggesting that Chris Cantwell wouldn't have blown up if we hadn't interviewed him?
Wouldn't have blown up? What do you mean blown up?
What I mean is, Chris Cantwell, maybe you haven't been paying attention to the news, but Chris Cantwell has been getting headlines all over the place in the last week.
Around the globe.
I mean, he's become the face of the white separatist, racist movement out there in Charlottesville. And that has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that Free Talk Live had him on. I mean, I appreciate you giving us credit if that's what you were doing, but it wasn't because of our interview of him is why he got promoted to national prominence. He was promoted to national prominence because he was featured in a Vice documentary, which was seen by millions of people over this last weekend. That Vice documentary came out, I would say, probably at around the same time that we did our interview with him. And that, it hit much larger than, any interview that we conducted with him. But regardless, somebody has to be the spokesperson for this hate group. I mean, there's going to be somebody that the media goes to say, hey, can we interview you? And then they're going to spout their nasty hate message. And people like us are going to counter it because, that's what we do here. We counter all kinds of bad ideas on Free Talk Live. But it sounds to me like you're saying that we shouldn't have even allowed those bad ideas on the air in the first place. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you had him as your reporting correspondent.
No, he was a guest.
No,
he was a guest.
No,
he was a guest.
Call it what you want.
He did no. You can't call it what you want.
You
because
can if
a
you
reporting
want. If you're some crazy jackass on the phone, yes, you can.
Thanks for the call, Michael. Because a reporting correspondent is somebody who goes down there on the request generally.
Oh, you're right. We didn't pay him.
We didn't even ask him to go.
No, we didn't. We didn't. We just found out.
I found out he was there. I saw a video of him attacking. Being supposedly attacked. He claims, but he was in a fight. I saw a video of that fight, and I knew that this was somebody we should talk to because we can. All I got to do is put a phone call in, and I can usually, get Chris Cantwell to come on the air for better or for worse. And so that's what we did. And some people have said that we shouldn't have had him on. Maybe that's not exactly what Michael there was saying, but some of our supporters.
I think that's what he was saying, yes.
Some of our supporters have been upset at us for allowing him to come on, for as long as we had him on. We did an hour-long interview with him last week about what happened. And that's because there was a lot to talk about. If it was something we could have covered in a segment, we'd have covered it in a segment, and we'd have moved on. But the fact is, Chris Cantwell, whether you like him or not, and not many people like him, but most people hate him, and understandably so. He wants to be hated. He wants this kind of attention, and the fact is, the media gave it to him. And the Vice documentary was seen by millions of people, and the fact is, he used to be a co-host here on this show. Regardless of his opinion, and his opinion is despicable. He has a racist set of beliefs, and it's a disgusting set of beliefs. But regardless of that set of beliefs, Christopher Cantwell is a good speaker, and he can communicate a situation, what went on. And so, I didn't have any question of, sometimes when you invite somebody to come on a radio show, you don't know necessarily, if you've never interviewed them before, you don't know if they're going to be any good. They could just give you one-word answers. Oh, yeah, so how is everything on the ground there at Charlottesville? It was awesome.
Dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, so that is also a factor. Who are you going to have on? Do they have the ability to speak on the radio? And he definitely does. So anyway, thanks for the program advice. Let's talk to Jason in Bowling Green, Kentucky, listening to WKCT. Hey, Jason.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
What's on your mind tonight?
Ever since the mess in Charlottesville last week, I keep thinking of the same thing.
And I want to hear what that is, but you're going to have to hang on if you don't mind. We're going to bring you right back. More with Jason and Bowling Green. Your calls and thoughts welcome. More on the way with your thoughts at 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves. It doesn't have to be about the alt-right or anything like that. You can bring up anything you want here on Free Talk Live. Also, Skype in at username LRN.FM.
Have you ever thought about mining Bitcoin? Did the costs, constant equipment upgrades, and maintenance scare you off? Do you want to make Bitcoin every day in the same mining pool that Ian and I do? Pool.bitcoin.com. There's a 100% uptime guarantee. The website's easy to use, and you can calculate what you're going to make right there on the website at pool.bitcoin.com. Help steer Bitcoin towards the liberating currency that Satoshi Nakamoto meant it to be. I'm not just making money at pool.bitcoin.com. I'm doing activism while I sleep. Pool.bitcoin.com. What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie
Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, August 19th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.99 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,285 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,105. Antiwar.com reports in the course of about 10 months of invading the northern Iraqi city of Mosul, the U.S. dropped massive amounts of bombs on the city, killing massive numbers of people. But while there's at least some documentation of places they did bomb, there's little to no public information on where they tried to bomb. Lieutenant General Stephen Townsend, the U.S. commander in Iraq, is trying to declassify that information in an effort to provide the locations of bombs the U.S. dropped on Mosul that did not explode. That information obviously would be hugely important to Iraqis looking to make the city habitable again. It's something of a scandal that this is not done as a matter of course, given how deadly dud weapons can be to civilians months or even years after the war. U.S. law, however, keeps the details classified for 25 years, which in a city of over 1 million people is just way too long. The repair of Mosul, which has sustained massive damage from the protracted war, is already complicated by the Islamic State booby traps and IEDs littered around the city, and experts say there are dozens or potentially even hundreds of U.S. bombs mixed in with all of that. Without declassification, the location of U.S. bombs are as big a mystery as the location of anything the Islamic State left behind. Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organization to show up in an emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare to the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411, because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com. UPI reports the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights released a statement Friday condemning President Donald Trump's announcement that he intends to ban transgender individuals from serving in the military. A majority of the commission, which is bipartisan and operates independent of the executive branch, voted to oppose Trump's stance, which he announced on Twitter, but has yet to take effect. The commission said in the statement, thousands of transgender troops currently serve in the U.S. military, and thousands more have served and given their lives for the country throughout our history. These military men and women honor our country and defend all of its citizens with their service. Commission Chairwoman Catherine Lamont said discrimination against transgender individuals would violate the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause and would constitute discrimination. Trump announced the ban in a series of tweets last month. The Joint Chiefs of Staff and civilian Pentagon leaders responded, saying the tweets themselves do not constitute a presidential executive order and would have no immediate effect on the military's policy on transgender service members. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports officials in the city of Boston are planning road blockades and even banning food vendors from the historic Boston Common as they step up security around a free speech rally on Saturday featuring right-wing speakers, aiming to avoid a repeat of last weekend's violence at a white supremacist rally in Virginia. Some 500 police officers will be on the streets around the popular tourist destination. They're planning to close some roadways to vehicles, mindful of the car attacks that killed a woman in Charlottesville and 13 in an attack in Barcelona on Thursday. Saturday's rally has drawn intense concern from city and state officials following the violence in Charlottesville when white supremacists at a Unite the Right rally fought in streets with anti-fascist protesters. One woman was killed at the event when a man said to have neo-Nazi sympathies crashed his car into a crowd of counter-protesters, injuring 19 other people. Boston Mayor Marty Walsh said the city had granted a permit for Saturday's event but would not tolerate violence, adding that sticks, bats, and weapons of all kinds would be banned from the Common. Rallies are also expected later on Saturday in Texas, with a Houston chapter of Black Lives Matter holding a rally to remove a Spirit of the Confederacy monument from a public park, and civil rights activists in Dallas planning a rally against white supremacy. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
As of today, the average cost of a pack of cigarettes has gone up to 2 hand jobs and a stick of beef jerky. For more, we go now to Onion News Network prison economics expert Hal Rogan.
The prison economy runs on cigarettes. They're involved in every economic transaction at some stage, from contract killings to naked woman picture acquisition.
Right.
That's why we've got shampoo at 6 batteries. We've got tattoos at 50 commissary stamps.
Now, for what it's really like out there in the market, let's check in with major cigarette trader Big Dap Ramirez. Big Dap, nice to see you again.
Thanks, Rick. Good to see you. What's happening, Hal?
How's it going, Big Dap?
Now, it's obviously a boom time for cigarettes right now.
I'm getting a lot of hand
But with
jobs.
prices this high, analysis shows you're going to be seeing a drop-off in real sales soon as consumers turn to smoking grass fajos.
Look, we've been through this before. The market teaches us not to panic. But if I learn anything in this game, it's that a wife or girlfriend will pass off a few decks in the boneyard. Supply will normalize, and we'll see cigarettes returning to a single hand job or less.
Big Dap, best of luck to you. We'll keep checking in on the story with Hal throughout the day.
Thanks, Rick.
Moving on to some happier news. In Atlanta today, 2 snitches were beaten to death.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free to join us right here as we launch into the second hour of the program. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username here is LRN.FM. It's Ian and Mark in the studio tonight. We're going back to Jason, who is on the line with us in Bowling Green, Kentucky. For those of you just tuning in, there's been a lot of talk, obviously, this in the last week about the racist white separatists who, of course, made a big deal down in Charlottesville, Virginia last week. There was a big conflict between them and the almost as detestable, if not as detestable, Antifa, or the anti-fascists, 2 very, very not so friendly groups who fought it out in Charlottesville. And now, of course, today in the Boston Common, it turned out there weren't any Nazis or white supremacists, at least according to Justin O'Donnell from the Libertarian Party, who we had on the phone in the first hour. But there were 25,000 people who came out, apparently, expecting there to be Nazis.
They were Nazi hunting.
Jason is on the line with us in Bowling Green. Now, what were you calling about tonight, Jason? I apologize. We were very short on time in the last segment, right when we took your call. So go ahead.
Speaking about the Charlottesville incident last week.
Yes.
Ever since then, it seems like there's been a narrative where both sides, well, one side was more to blame than the other. Okay?
And which side is more to blame in the narrative?
In the narrative, well, the neo-Nazis, KKK / they're right, I guess you could say, is their term.
Yeah, the Unite the Right folks, yep.
Right, which I personally find neo-Nazis and people in the Klan to be pretty disgusting.
Yep.
But
do you consider yourself to be on the right?
No, I consider myself to be kind of middle of the road.
All right. Well, the rally wasn't for you then. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I think people that are racist or extremists on either side are disgusting because one of the things guaranteed to us is the right to peacefully assemble, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
as long as you get your permit.
Yeah, if you threaten peaceful assembly, then you're kind of violating somebody else's rights, regardless of whether you agree with them being there or not.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have the right to peaceably assemble, alongside of them and disagree.
Right, exactly. And I keep coming back to, are you guys familiar with George Orwell's 1984?
Oh, yeah.
I keep coming back, especially after listening to your guys talk tonight, I'm sorry. And I keep thinking about, it's almost like you're being conditioned to only hear one point of view, and that kind of scares me.
I hear you. I think that that it's sort of coming down to this. That free speech is. I think free speech has become a dog whistle.
What does that mean?
A dog whistle means
something
code.
You can't hear?
Code, yes.
Okay.
Well, like not everybody can hear it. So, now it's becoming a terminology used to say that somebody is in fact supporting racist speech.
Did this happen in the last week, or has this been something that...
I think it's been brewing for some time. I did an online debate not too long ago with a college professor, and he was taking the really strange position, and I'll say that I won the debate by vote, and probably because I took the free speech side, not because I was that great of a debater. But the guy's basically saying, hey, look, some speech, some racist speech, it's just too much. The people who are being spoken against, they can't defend themselves, so we can't have racist speech.
Where was this debate online?
It was just online. I can't even remember the name of the website.
Okay. I was going to say, if you're in a debate, you probably should, let us know and we can promote it or whatever, put the video out.
My audio didn't work the way I would have liked it to.
So it didn't sound that great.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Jason, what to do here? What do you think?
I wish I had the easy answer, but there really isn't one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
go ahead. I keep coming back to thinking about that novel, and I'm starting to think, well, gee, I wonder if Orwell got the date wrong by 30-some years,
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah, I hear you.
Jason, thanks for your call tonight. I do appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Is free speech under attack in the United States? That's what it sounds like, Mark. You're saying this college professor was saying that, speech is fine except for,
yes.
And then he had a carve-out for right-wing hate speech.
His argument would have been that there's a carve-out for yelling fire in a crowded theater, a carve-out for libel and slander.
That's a poor argument, and it's brought up very often on the airwaves here.
That's what you hear. It's like the next thing after you say free speech is you have to talk about movie theaters and people yelling fire. Have you ever tried to yell fire in a movie theater? Have you ever seen somebody?
That's a bad idea.
I've seen them do it.
Really?
Yeah, nobody even looks at them.
Wow. I've never seen that happen.
If it's a crowded theater, people are talking.
Yeah.
I mean, who runs in panic, trampling babies because somebody yelled fire?
Yeah, where's
they
the
don't
smoke?
Smell smoke. They don't, nothing.
Right. But the fact is, Mark, it's not about that. It's about the fact that the movie theater is private property. So you don't have free speech on private property.
Right. You can't come to my house and yodel underneath my window at 2 a.m.
Unless it's the rule of the private property owner that free speech is allowed, and most private property owners have some restriction on speech. And in a movie theater, one of the restrictions is you turn your phone off and you don't yell fire in the movie theater unless there's an actual reason to do so. Otherwise, the theater owner has the right to evict you from their premises. I mean, that's very straightforward. But that has nothing to do with the question about... Huh?
Slander. There are, I'm just giving you the shots that this guy said.
Oh, well, hold on. I'm still addressing the first one. That has nothing to do with the question of should people be able to say things in a public place. And in which case, as long as we have public places, then the answer is yes. People should be able to say whatever crazy claptrap they want in a public space or on their own private property. And in the case of Boston Common, we're talking about a public space which, while it's also the free speech of the protesters to be able to shout down those who are speaking, because that's all free speech, the police should not have shut it down. That's, I think, the real mistake here today, or tragedy, if you will, that the police stopped this event from continuing. I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe because apparently Antifa were pushing on the fences and trying to break in or something like that, and so they used the violence of the protesters as the excuse to quash the speech of the people in the bandstand. And that's an example of what they call in law the heckler's veto. And that's a situation where if there's the excuse is, well, these hecklers out here, they're going to attack somebody if we just let this speech go on.
Right.
And so therefore we need to shut down this speech. There's these crazy people out here who might do something crazy.
Women can't go outdoors because somebody might rape them.
It's the same kind of
right. It's
idea.
the same, like when you start changing these things around, you realize exactly what a infringement on rights this is.
And there have been cases, plenty of cases. I mean, the reason why heckler's veto is a thing is because I believe it came out of the Supreme Court, or at least some courts. It's been cited a number of times. It was cited in the Robin Hood of Keene case that I was involved in by our attorney there. And this is something that has been litigated on a number of occasions where the courts have made it very clear that the government cannot involve themselves in a viewpoint discrimination based on what the hecklers might do, based on the fear of somebody breaking the actual law of attacking someone over their speech. That fear is not justification for restricting the speech of the speaker. The speaker should be free to say the things they want. Now, there is a risk, right? There's a risk that some crazy fool is going to attack you for the words that come out of your mouth. That person would be breaking the law.
Depending on the words, I might be like, well, I don't feel so bad.
That person might be breaking the law by that attack, in which case it's the police's job to stop that attack if they're present, or go after the attacker if they weren't present for it, and investigate that situation. But it is not the job of the government or the police to use the potential for an attack as the reason to quash speech. So this could be an actionable event as far as if the government did indeed stop this.
Of course it's actionable. Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, this is, once again, your government bureaucrats have failed you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. America.
They broke the Constitution.
They do it all the time. Yeah. Will they be held accountable? No, they won't.
Probably not.
But you will. Yep, your tax dollars will go to pay off somebody who's once again had their rights violated because, I don't know, some captain or, OIC or whatever couldn't figure out how to, let people who disagree be in the same space.
So that comes down to another question of letting people who disagree being in the same space, which is kind of where I wanted to go with some of the news tonight. Looks like the folks over at some racist website have been shut down by not just their web host, but their DNS provider. And that's a whole new level of scary. We'll tell you why coming up.
Warning. If you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back. Because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-957-9489. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-957-9489. That's 1-800-957-9489. 1-800-957-9489.
My name is John Kunkel. I'm 63 years old, and I've been building muscle and losing fat over the last 6 months. I've been using One World Whey to provide a highly assimilable protein and Capra Mineral Whey to help me get all the minerals I need and to support my body's alkaline pH. I've also been using Ester Block to keep my testosterone levels high and not allow it to convert to estrogen, which happens normally as men age. The extra testosterone also helps in building muscle. The result has been a successful process of converting my body from fat to muscle. I've lost 20 pounds to date.
Join the many people who are converting fat to muscle with One World Whey. The body is chronically hungry for usable amino acids. Cooking proteins destroys up to 75% of the amino acids. Cooked proteins burden the body and accelerate aging. One World Whey's protein content is raw and virtually 100% usable. Substitute One World Whey for one meal of your day and see how much better you can feel. Call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phones, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live Saturday edition of the program. Of course, you're invited to join us on the radio and take control of the airwaves at 855-450. Free like freedom. 855-450-3733. Is free speech under attack? Certain things are not welcome in a lot of corners, and understandably, but does that mean, these topics should not be discussed at all in public? And we're going to get deeper into this discussion here because there's been some major, I guess, I don't know if the right term, targeting of people on the white supremacist side of things, of their websites, at levels that are unprecedented, that are to some extent disturbing. And I'll explain that coming up here in moments.
So let's talk about nutritional supplements for a second. Over 60% of Americans take a nutritional supplement, and for good reason. Nutrient depletion of our soil, coupled with dependence on processed foods, has left most people deficient in essential nutrients. But where do you start? If you visit a naturopath, you're likely to be told cheap vitamin and mineral supplements don't cut it. You also are going to need probiotics, enzymes, antioxidants, and other nutrients. By the time it's all said and done, you're buying 5 bottles of product and spending $150 per month. If this is a situation that you've experienced, then you need to know about Whole Food Multi-Complete. For 15 years, Whole Food Multi-Complete has been quietly providing what the big boys won't. The perfect blend of 7 supplements in a single product. And they've taken the expense and complexity out of following a complete supplement program. Visit simplifymysupplements.com to learn more. Enter coupon code FTL to receive 10% off your order every time you order. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. They do accept Bitcoin over there at simplifymysupplements.com. I'd like to point out, I took this, and just the probiotic aspect of it caused me to lose like 10 pounds without even knowing why I was losing. I couldn't really even figure it out. I saw a movie explaining what probiotics do, and I'm like, oh, that's why. SimplifyMySupplements.com. This is the best supplement you didn't know you needed. SimplifyMySupplements.com.
All right, so we know what has happened in the last week, since last Friday night with the Charlottesville conflict between two very despicable sides, the anti-fascists and the fascists, the right-wing, racist, Nazi, some of them are Nazis.
Yeah, I don't know what they are, but I saw a lot of video of some people doing and saying despicable things.
Yeah, for sure. Fighting each other in Charlottesville over some Civil War statue, a statue of Robert E. Lee in that particular case. There have been statues that have been pulled down since then by protesters and cities. I guess Baltimore pulled down a statue of some sort overnight sometime this week, and
the dark of night.
Yeah, it was a surprise to some people. So there's been this kind of ongoing conflict in the streets. It boiled over in Boston today with over 25,000 people in the streets. Just a tremendous thronging mass of people. I mean, I was really surprised to see that level of a turnout, all to oppose a free speech rally, which had nothing whatsoever to do with the alt-right. They had an alt-right person scheduled to speak at this free speech rally, but it was sort of a perspective thing. There were progressives, there were conservatives, there were some libertarians speaking there, but they had actually disinvited the alt-right guy prior to the event. So it wasn't
one guy.
Yeah, it wasn't an alt-right event, according to the people who were there on the ground today. Mark, you said you had talked to a college professor who was arguing to suppress the speech of right-wing hate groups. And I don't like that speech. I find it to be detestable. But at the same time, I'm somebody who does offer a platform for relatively free speech. You can call Free Talk Live, and you can have a detestable opinion on this show. You can't say the F word, because then, our stations will...
a few other words.
There's a few words you can't say, but those words would... Not being able to say those words does not prohibit you from expressing the ideas that you have.
Right.
And so
there's speech is to some extent censored here, but ideas are generally not.
Correct. Certain words are censored here, I would say, and that's just because we have to, because that's the way things work. But the ideas, you're welcome to call in. We're going to refute them if you call in with bad ideas, if you're going to call in with racism, if you're going to call
what
in
we consider to be bad ideas,
right?
Right.
If you're going to, well, I think most people consider racism to be bad, but yes.
I don't care what most people think. That's a logical fallacy. Argumentum ad populum. It doesn't matter. Your idea is either good or bad on its own merits, not because of people agree or disagree with it.
Well, right, and that gets us into this issue here where a lot of people disagree with the racists out there, and understandably so. And what we've seen happening this week is companies have been shutting down accounts of people like Christopher Cantwell, who was one of the more prominent people down in Charlottesville. The Vice documentary was done about him. He's been shut off from every payment platform that he was on. So he had Stripe, I think, for his credit cards, PayPal. He had some other thing for payments, Patreon. Those have all shut him down. He was shut down from his dating platforms, OkCupid, Match.com, shut down from these major dating sites, shut out, banned forever, according to OkCupid.
Facebook, which is,
well, that's easy to get shut off of. But Facebook, Twitter, all these platforms. All these platforms he was shut down from. And his website's still online, but is it only a matter of time now before they target his site? Because what happened this week is particularly chilling as far as free speech is concerned. According to BusinessInsider.com, a prominent, and there's other sources as well, but a prominent internet rights group has condemned Google and GoDaddy for refusing to manage the domain registration for the neo-Nazi website, The Daily Stormer. The Electronic Frontier Foundation, the EFF, a nonprofit organization that defends digital civil liberties, issued a blistering statement on Thursday, slamming the domain gatekeepers for using their power to silence speech.
So this is a DNS provider, right?
GoDaddy is a DNS provider. That is correct.
Right. So not only do they put a website up, but they make it so that you can type in some words
and get to the site.
And get to the site rather than typing in a bunch of letters and dots.
A bunch
and
of
stuff.
numbers. Yeah.
So this is effectively handing over freedom of the press to the marketplace, and then the marketplace refusing to let people act as the press, right?
After Heather Heyer was killed in Charlottesville, the Daily Stormer ran a post mocking her for her physical appearance and using various offensive epithets.
It sure was.
This prompted widespread outrage on Twitter and led GoDaddy to investigate and ultimately to ban the Daily Stormer for violating its terms of service. Following this, the neo-Nazi site attempted to register a domain with Google, but that attempt was quickly blocked as well. though many around the web were pleased to hear these companies were making an effort.
Right, because these people are so concerned about their team that they don't care about what's right or wrong. Okay? And that's what I want Free Talk Live to be, is the referee of life, where I can say, beep, beep, sorry. Yep, you've gone too far. That's a violation of freedom of speech. You're going to have to step back, Mr. Antifa. Take a deep breath. I don't care. Inhale the paint, whatever you're doing over there. But settle down for a second. And that's what this sounds like. If you're disrupting somebody's DNS, I'm not saying that you have to host a website that you find detestable. But if you're going to go and if you're going to host and then mess with the DNS, be a DNS provider, then you're just going to have to let people say what they want.
Let's continue here with what the EFF has to say about it, and you can share your thoughts. Should websites that are offensive be able to be shut down at their core, meaning preventing even the site name itself from existing? It's Free Talk Live.
Ralph, remember when you said you were going to start paying more attention to your health and now you're eating potato chips?
Just a few.
A few, okay, but you should be eating Super Berries Aronia berries.
Aroni what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness. Go to superberries.com/radio. And right now we get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus we can save $4 at checkout.
Wow, look at all the benefits of these berries.
I know, Ralph, I know.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com.
If there's a toxic chemical, biological, gas, smoke emergency while traveling at home or on your job, are you protected? Are you prepared? There are over 400,000 fires in the USA every year. Up to 85% of all deaths in a fire are due to smoke inhalation. 3 minutes without air and we as humans will die. Be prepared and escape safely with our Safe Escape smoke hoods, giving you up to 60 minutes of breathable air protection. Order yours online at ase-safety.com. That's ase-safety.com. And get up to 40% off plus free shipping.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. Coincap.io. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll free. Join us on the radio. Our number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Skype username for you, LRN.FM. You just dial us up there, and you can talk about anything that you want to discuss. Now, if you want to help build a better financial system for everyone, then join Dash. Dash is digital cash. And as I understand it, it just, was it today, hit a new world record high in dollar value. Dash is a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, private, and easy. Fees are low, and transactions are fast and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. You can take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Go to Dash.org and find out why. We're going to talk more about what happened to the I guess, I don't know what the right word to describe all these people are, because they're all so similar, but as we learned recently, they're different. So, like, a Nazi isn't exactly the same thing as a white nationalist or
KKK.
They're all racist, but they're not all necessarily Nazis if they're in the KKK or if they are white nationalists and all that. So it's one of those politics makes strange bedfellows situations where they're united, it seems, in their hatred of other people who look different from them or have different religions, but political philosophy-wise, they're different in their opinions. So we'll get into that because one of those groups is being oppressed by corporations. Their free speech is being shut down. But then again, do you really have free speech when it comes to private property? Most libertarians would say no, but when it gets to the question of your DNS records, does that change how people feel about this at all? Let's get into that a little deeper here in moments. But first, Sean is in Dallas, listening online via the LRN.FM app. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, I want to go ahead and change the subject I was going to talk about. So I was going to originally talk about Sarah in New Mexico calling in about the red light cameras.
Sarah in New Mexico is a regular caller to Free Talk Live. For listeners that may be new to the show, she is a chronic caller of the worst order because she doesn't actually listen to the show. And because because we are an open phone show and we don't actually have a rule prohibiting it, we let her call in to say whatever she wants. And she almost always complains about some sort of traffic-related thing like red light cameras, as you mentioned. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's pretty much increased our accidents around the red light cameras by 30%. Because I just got one and did research. Because I just slammed on my brakes and someone hit me in the ass.
Oh.
And I was like, goodness, Sarah.
So you're saying the red light camera resulted in you slamming on your brakes and getting rear-ended at the traffic light?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is generally
not uncommon.
What has happened in the past regarding red light cameras. So a municipality will install them. They'll see an increase in revenue that comes from people, doing sort of what they've done all along when it comes to red lights, scooting through the pink light or whatever it is that they were doing. And they saw this big increase in revenue. They're like, yeah, cha-ching, baby! And then over time, within a few, some months over time, the people will start realizing, oh, I'm going to get a ticket, so they'll slam on their brakes. They get rear-ended.
Get some whiplash while you're at it.
Yeah, the municipalities will also, crank down the time on the yellow lights.
Yeah, they did. They did. The yellow light is like 2 seconds long.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
it's like green, yellow, red.
Yeah, they want that. They want that revenue. They found another source for revenue, and they want it.
But it's the cost of lives because some people actually end up getting seriously injured or even dying in these situations.
Yep. Well, I can tell you, red light cameras don't save lives.
So, Sean, you'd wanted to call in to just kind of let Sarah know that there are real-life victims because of her red light laws?
Yeah, I don't know if she was on the line or not listening, because she doesn't listen.
Yeah, that's the only way she would have heard
except
it.
for unless she's on hold.
She's not.
Yeah, he got rear-ended and he wanted to talk about it. That's what happened.
Anything else you want to share, Sean? Go ahead.
Yeah, as far, oh goodness, the last segment you were talking about, the dichotomy between the right and the left of the paradigm of the way the nation is trying to split us up, and as far as race and everything, honestly, they're trying to do that, because as long as the country is divided, it's easily conquered.
Yep, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true.
The corporatocracy, the bigwigs. I mean, I could go and say Vanderbilt, all go through the whole dichotomy, but all those are looking for is ways to double their billions of dollars, get us all divided, get us hating each other, and just make a mockery of us, and then show it on TV.
Sean, thanks.
What are they? What are they actually hiding? Because whenever they're showing all this junk on TV and all the S stuff that on TV, the question you really got to ask yourself is, what's actually behind the curtain that's fixing to unfold?
Good question.
I mean, are we looking?
Sean, thank you for the call tonight, man. I do appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Divide and conquer is what you said, Mark. That's an old tactic, right?
Yeah, I'm certain that's a divide and rule. Actually, is another. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Divide and conquer and divide and rule. Is
if you can get the people
tactic
to fight each other over piddly crap, then they won't pay attention to being, basically raped by the state or whatever it is that's going on.
Yeah, it is in the interest of those that claim to rule to have people arguing with each other.
Sure.
In order to, not be arguing with them, essentially. Now, pointing to an official policy makes it a bit more difficult, but people do tend to follow incentives. So I don't know where the government's involved. Now, the claim here that the media is sort of colluding to have people do this, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you can really point to something on that. It just seems like the media follows what the public's interest is, and the public's interest is high in the area of racism. Right? Like, people are interested in this topic.
Well, people will say, Mark, that the mainstream media is controlled by a very select group of mega corporations, and those
Then why are we talking about it?
Well, we're just on the radio, so people don't really seem to think that that's as important of a mainstream media.
They're going to name Clear
aspect.
Channel as one of those seven important companies, aren't they?
I don't know.
Aren't we on some Clear Channel stations?
We are. We definitely are. We're on
go.
Cumulus and Clear Channel stations, the two largest radio corporations. I think that generally that theory has a lot of holes in it, but at the same time, I can understand why it people tend to believe it, and that's because
Clear Channel's practically bankrupt at this point.
That's true. There has, though, been a lot of consolidation in media, and it is true that some mega corporations do own a whole lot of media kind of arms and channels and things like that. And there's no doubt that some of the people in charge of these media operations are people who love the state. The state is their bread and butter. That is the way they make their money. That's how they make their living, and they want to make sure that thing continues.
I think that there's sloppy journalism. The journalists rarely bring on somebody to sort of disagree with a politician's point. If a politician says or suggests something, then that in and of itself is news and generally not rebutted. Whereas if a commentator is brought on, usually they will bring somebody
else
on the other side. Now, they generally, whatever the other side doesn't generally represent libertarians, which I find to be a little frustrating. Many other countries do a far better job of letting libertarians on the air and that kind of thing. But yeah, I think that these one-sided news organizations, they know where they make their money. They know what their demographic is. They know how to target news towards them. But I tend not to believe that there's some kind of
grand conspiracy.
Yeah, big media playbook. But Rush Limbaugh did a great job of pointing out gravitas one time, a couple of decades ago, and how everybody
was
sort of
using
used the word gravitas to
that.
describe the same situation over and over.
All right, the toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom. That probably has less to do with somebody at the top writing a script than it does just people kind of borrowing from everybody else and not really having any original ideas.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
When I get to about 3/4, when I get down to the bottom, a couple more scoops, it's time to place my order. Dinovite.com.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of NomoFlea free.
NomoFlea flea spray kills fleas safely with no poison.
Because it's a polypeptide protein molecule made from
vegetable oil.
Try NomoFlea.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dinovite. DINOVITE.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-7740. That's 800-610-7740. 800-610-7740.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live Saturday edition of the show.
We'll be live Sunday, though.
With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
It's Sunday somewhere right now.
Yes.
So you can bring up whatever's on your mind. Sunday in Guam right now, as a matter of fact.
Free Talk Live, bringing in the morning show for you in Guam.
Except we're not on in the mornings in Guam, Mark. I was just saying it's Sunday now in Guam. We are on in Guam, but we're on in the evenings, which means you hear us much later than when we actually air. So you can bring up anything you want. The toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Don't forget, we've got a web forum. You can go to forum.freetalklive.com. Listeners there have been getting interactive. There's actually a thread about Sarah. So the caller that just called in, I don't know if it was his thread or not, but somebody posted a thread about Sarah earlier today. There's discussion there. You can go, and they're talking about Bitcoin on some of the threads as well. So head on over to forum.freetalklive.com. Registration is free. All you need to do is post a quick introduction to kind of let people know that you're not there to spam, and you'll get into the forum.
Sell some sunglasses.
You'll get into the forum. It's free. Just like everything is on our website. So again, forum.freetalklive.com. We're talking about freedom of speech. The people over on the alt-right, specifically the racist alt-right, are being attacked by these companies that are trying to kind of make a play to make it look like they care about these issues and they're not going to tolerate the hatred from these groups. But on the other hand, is there a too far when it comes to shutting people down online as far as, yeah, you're not obligated to host a website for somebody, but shouldn't a DNS operator at least be obligated to leave a DNS record alone? A DNS is sort of the phone book of the internet. When you type in freetalklive.com, there's actually some numbers that are associated with our site, sort of like a phone number almost, except it's for the internet. It identifies it's called the IP address, and it identifies a specific computer somewhere on the internet and says, this is where, to your browser, it tells the browser, hey, this is where freetalklive.com actually is. It's at 19 whatever it is, and that's what the DNS record provides. It allows somebody to easily type in a name for a website, and then behind the scenes, the computers sort of look that up and they figure out where to go. Google and Godaddy have now colluded or on their own decided to shut out this Daily Stormer site, which is a despicable website. I mean, Mark, you saw the Vice documentary, right?
Yep.
You remember the bearded guy that was like sitting in the van, one of the other interviewees. He was quite obnoxious. As Chris Campbell was also pretty obnoxious.
He was surprisingly articulate.
Yeah, he was one of the people with the Daily Stormer, which I hadn't heard of prior to really that video, but apparently it's one of those racist news sites or something like that.
I've heard of Stormfront. And
I've heard of them.
Yeah, that maybe storms have something to do with them. Stormtroopers.
They seem to like storms.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Anyway, the funny thing was the guy's name was apparently Asmodor. And I was teasing. I actually had a conversation with Chris Cantwell last night, and I teased him about this guy Asmodor. I said, names like that are sort of like the right-wing equivalent of Moonbeam. They're just as ridiculous, as a silly kind of name.
His name isn't really Asmodor, right?
I have no idea. But some people name their kids things like, Moonbeam and Sunshine. So like the hippie kids are named that, but then the racist right-wing kids are named things like Asmodor. So we're going to go to your calls and thoughts. We'll tell you more about what happened with the internet crackdown on the speech of these Nazi sympathizers. Let's go to your calls and thoughts first, though. Joe is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, listening to WTKG. Hello, Joe.
Yeah, I think these are private companies. They can do what they want. Free speech should be absolute, I guess, as far as the government's concerned. Mm-hmm. But I just like to say that these groups, man, I don't know what these alt-right. I never heard of them until about a year or so ago.
Yeah, they kind of came out of nowhere.
The media is desperate to hook them up with any small government people. They're like Libertarian.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, that's what they want to do. They want to call them constitutionalists. They want to call them libertarians. They want to call them.
But they're not.
Well, I understand they're not, but that's what agreed 100% that many on the left, and I include many in the media as those folks, many on the left, they want to take this shortcut when it comes to understanding the philosophies of the people on the right, and that shortcut runs right through racist land.
I think, to me, Marxists and Nazis, to me they're basically the same.
Right.
They're big government. We're going to run your life type stuff. It has nothing to do with libertarianism. But, I also know that the media they're pretty much biased. And, they don't give a crap about what libertarians believe. They don't, small government, low taxes, all that stuff. They just they love those, anybody who's wants the government out of their life. Oh, you're a Nazi. I'm not a freaking Nazi. And
no, I mean, by definition, you're not, because a Nazi is a National Socialist, somebody who wants more government in people's lives.
Any group, whether I don't know if you're think tanks or anything that consider them small government, man, you need to just do whatever you can to push these douchebags. Had nothing to do with them, I mean,
yep.
These guys, Richard Spencer, all these guys are complete losers. I don't know
they're
what
nobodies.
The deal is.
I mean, they're the only reason they are even known is because the media has decided to turn them into known personalities. Before all of this alt-right media coverage, who the hell was Richard Spencer? Nobody would have known who that guy is.
The FBI, I believe they said there was roughly something like 6,000 or 7,000 like real hardcore Nazis in the country, but the internet and the media, like you said, they make them look like they're everywhere.
Yeah. Nazis are good press.
Yeah, they're not going to take over the country. We're not going to start building freaking gas chambers and stuff. But these guys, man, they're, I don't know. I mean,
I get where you're coming from. It is frustrating, and that's part of why it's important that we can, be the media ourselves today. And thank you, Joe, for your call and thoughts tonight. That you don't have to rely on the mainstream press anymore, at least. Now, anybody, well, if the companies will allow you to, anybody can have a website. And that's kind of what we're going to get into here when we get a chance. We'll tell you more about the crackdown on a right-wing extremist kind of racist site. I never actually been to the site, but apparently it is back up right now. According to reports online, the Daily Stormer was taken down by their DNS host, Godaddy, at the DNS level.
Well, that's because you can go get another DNS provider, and so you can get back up, and that's my...
Yeah, but there are only so many of those out there.
But if there's competition, there's competition, right? Now, the fact is that I believe you have to go through the government in some way, the ICANN body, in order to be a DNS provider?
No, the ICANN isn't the government. That's...
They are a governing body.
They're a governing body, but they're not
power
a state.
By the United States, who created the backbone for the internet, right? So, I mean, that is a dispersal. You see, that's the thing, is Ian, when the internet is a government project. All right, it's
they don't
ubiquity.
Own the backbones of the internet.
Its ubiquity is because it was started sort of, as an overlay, and it's uniform. Rather than a bunch of different internets competing with each other, we have one internet. And that's one of the things that makes it great. Now, more freedom on the internet is better, but you can't deny the fact that the internet has its roots in statism. It's an argument for the state because of how great the internet is.
But no, that's not true. It's not an argument for the state. The government happened to be involved in the early phases of the internet. But, that doesn't matter. I mean, it's like saying that Tor is great because of the government. It's not true.
If you try to make your own internet to compete with this internet, you're going to go nowhere. Right?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I mean, it's very established.
They're established, and they were established as a monopoly. And that monopoly status gave them a huge head start. And that's just the that's
but the internet isn't great because of the government. You're misplacing.
It's great because it's great because of the techno.
One. It's great because of the techno nerds who make it great and make it work and make it operate and
they could
lay
make
the
another
lines.
One, but they don't.
And because there's no reason to. They lay the lines down and they get people connected and they provide the service, and that has nothing to do with the government. Because if it was the government, then you would have like dial-up modem speed still today. Let's go to Dave in Indianapolis, listening to WIBC FM. Hey, Dave.
Hello, hippies.
Hey.
Good evening.
What's up?
A quick question, and then I want to see if we're on the same page about free speech. This Richard Spencer you're talking about, this is not the same guy that calls out jihadists with David Horowitz, is it?
I have no idea. I really don't know who Richard Spencer is. I've seen pictures of the guy. He's some dude who's been thrown to prominence by media coverage around these alt-right events. I mean, he just seems to be a troll to me.
Okay, here's your question for the night. Name the biggest single entity that pours money into elections. And by the way, I'm not afraid of words, and I'm not afraid of money in elections, because money buys votes. It does not buy elections. I don't care how much money is spent in elections.
The biggest entity that does what? Political contributions?
I'd guess it was a bank, but I bet you want to hear AFL-CIO.
No.
AARP.
The federal government. Here's how.
All right, hang on. We'll let you answer that here in moments. 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Hour 3's coming up. You can join us on the radio. It's Free Talk Live. Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. For an investment of as low as $129, you can have a lifetime mining contract and support the Bitcoin network. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. It's the most profitable pool for miners, paying 120% of the block reward. That's pool.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com. Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, August 19th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.99 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,285 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,105. Antiwar.com reports in the course of about 10 months of invading the northern Iraqi city of Mosul, the U.S. dropped massive amounts of bombs on the city, killing massive numbers of people. But while there's at least some documentation of places they did bomb, there's little to no public information on where they tried to bomb. Lieutenant General Stephen Townsend, the U.S. commander in Iraq, is trying to declassify that information in an effort to provide the locations of bombs the U.S. dropped on Mosul that did not explode. That information obviously would be hugely important to Iraqis looking to make the city habitable again. It's something of a scandal that this is not done as a matter of course, given how deadly dud weapons can be to civilians months or even years after the war. U.S. law, however, keeps the details classified for 25 years, which in a city of over 1 million people is just way too long. The repair of Mosul, which has sustained massive damage from the protracted war, is already complicated by the Islamic State booby traps and IEDs littered around the city, and experts say there are dozens or potentially even hundreds of U.S. bombs mixed in with all of that. Without declassification, the location of U.S. bombs are as big a mystery as the location of anything the Islamic State left behind. Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organization to show up in an emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare to the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411, because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com. UPI reports the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights released a statement Friday condemning President Donald Trump's announcement that he intends to ban transgender individuals from serving in the military. A majority of the commission, which is bipartisan and operates independent of the executive branch, voted to oppose Trump's stance, which he announced on Twitter, but has yet to take effect. The commission said in the statement, thousands of transgender troops currently serve in the U.S. military, and thousands more have served and given their lives for the country throughout our history. These military men and women honor our country and defend all of its citizens with their service. Commission Chairwoman Catherine Lamond said discrimination against transgender individuals would violate the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause and would constitute discrimination. Trump announced the ban in a series of tweets last month. The Joint Chiefs of Staff and civilian Pentagon leaders responded, saying the tweets themselves do not constitute a presidential executive order and would have no immediate effect on the military's policy on transgender service members. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports officials in the city of Boston are planning road blockades and even banning food vendors from the historic Boston Common as they step up security around a free speech rally on Saturday featuring right-wing speakers, aiming to avoid a repeat of last weekend's violence at a white supremacist rally in Virginia. Some 500 police officers will be on the streets around the popular tourist destination. They're planning to close some roadways to vehicles, mindful of the car attacks that killed a woman in Charlottesville and 13 in an attack in Barcelona on Thursday. Saturday's rally has drawn intense concern from city and state officials following the violence in Charlottesville when white supremacists at a Unite the Right rally fought in streets with anti-fascist protesters. One woman was killed at the event when a man said to have neo-Nazi sympathies crashed his car into a crowd of counter-protesters, injuring 19 other people. Boston Mayor Marty Walsh said the city had granted a permit for Saturday's event but would not tolerate violence, adding that sticks, bats, and weapons of all kinds would be banned from the Common. Rallies are also expected later on Saturday in Texas, with a Houston chapter of Black Lives Matter holding a rally to remove a Spirit of the Confederacy monument from a public park, and civil rights activists in Dallas planning a rally against white supremacy. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
And in a surprise announcement this morning, U.S. Deputy Surgeon General Greg Paulson stated that, quote, "It's fine to smoke cigarettes if you only smoke while drinking." The Deputy Surgeon General has called a press conference to discuss the shocking findings, which began just moments ago. Let's go live to that now.
Was there a particular study this report was based on?
Look, that determination was made after considering that someone who only smokes when at bars or parties ends up smoking maybe 15 cigarettes a month, while regular smokers are smoking 150 to 200 cigarettes each week. So we feel that it's just obvious that as long as you don't actually buy the cigarettes and you only smoke them while consuming the alcohol, then the risks of getting lung cancer are basically mostly negligible. Just common sense.
This announcement comes on the heels of the Surgeon General's last announcement that drinking and driving is fine if you ate a lot that day or if it's a route you take all the time sober. Moving on, the Japanese Space Agency has announced plans to put a schoolgirl on the moon by 2015.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up whatever you want. Our number here, 855-450 free, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and you can Skype in here at username LRN.FM. With you tonight, it's Ian
and Mark.
We're going to go right back into your phone calls and thoughts. People still talking about the conflict between people in Charlottesville, now brewing up over in Boston today, with 25,000 folks coming out to protest what they thought was going to be some sort of Nazi rally, but it was actually a free speech rally that had speakers from the left, speakers from the right, libertarian speakers, and the 25,000 people came out today to try to shut it down, and they were successful. Boston police ended up shutting down the rally halfway through its, or at some point of the way through its intended runtime today. And
they're seeing Nazis behind every rock, hiding behind every tree.
Well, there's nothing wrong with wanting to come out and speak out against Nazis. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And apparently, according to
25,000 people were there.
According to witnesses, well, that's to some extent that's a good thing because it shows that people are not going to tolerate Nazis, and good for them. They have the right to come out and speak out against them. But unfortunately, that's not what they were actually, that's not what was actually happening. So it's fine that they had their opinion about that, but the event that they were protesting. You got to watch
the way you describe it. Toleration of Nazis, exactly what you need to do to Nazis. So, we're taught tolerance.
Well, no, you don't have to tolerate a Nazi, not on your private property. You don't have to let that Nazi in. You don't have
These people didn't go to their private property to talk to find Nazis. They went out to a public free speech rally in Boston, Massachusetts, and
which means you have the freedom to speak back and speak louder.
They attacked people trying to find Nazis.
It wasn't they. It was 1%, according to. One of the people who we interviewed there.
What did they do to stop them? What did the 99% do to stop this 1% that represents them to some extent? Right?
I don't know.
Nothing is the answer.
Most people aren't going to get involved with violent people. They're going to want to stay away from violent people. They're going to let the police be the ones that supposedly do that job. But anyway, the point was 99% of them were peaceful.
The people at that rally represent you and your interests. You need to police that in some fashion or another.
I tend to agree with you, but you can't expect people to intervene when people are committing violence. Most people are going to try to protect themselves and their loved ones, and they will only resort to violence if absolutely necessary.
I think most people will tolerate violence if it's against the people that they don't like. That's what I think.
Yeah, could very well be. In this case,
that's what I see here.
Well, you weren't there, but I wasn't either. But according to the person we talked to earlier, Justin O'Donnell, a Libertarian Party member here in New Hampshire who was down there, he said that 99% of the attendees at this Boston Common thing were completely peaceful, and there was only maybe about 1% of the
That wasn't my point.
Anti-fascists who were there causing issues. So the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. I mean, like I said, Mark, I agree with your point. I get your point. But it's hard to expect the average person who went to this thing to put their own safety on the line when there's some crazy Antifa person out there.
You came there to shout down bad behavior, right? Shout down some bad behavior. Get off your fat liberal butt, put the acoustic guitar away, and go shout down some bad behavior.
Shouting down is one thing, but getting involved and trying to actually stop someone who's being violent.
I'm not saying to pull a gat. I mean, this is Boston after all. You can't do anything about it, but shout down some bad behavior.
These are the kind of people who will throw tear gas at you and pour urine on you. So I can understand why somebody would want to stay back from these dangerous people. I don't blame people for not getting involved in that, but I get where you're coming from. Let's go back to Dave. He's in Indianapolis listening to WIBC FM. Dave, go ahead with your thoughts. You were going to say something about the government is a big contributor to political campaigns. I'm not sure exactly where you were going with that.
Yes, hippies. Good evening. Yes. The federal government is actually the biggest contributor, money-wise, to the elections that we have, and they have been for a long time. So for all the leftists out there crying over the fact that they say money buys influence, the first place they need to look is their own beloved welfare state.
Well, so how does the government contribute to elections?
You talking about matching contributions?
No. Here's what happens. The voters are out there, right?
Yeah.
Somebody representing the Democratic Party, the left, i.e. the welfare state, tells them, Look what Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, look how much money they cost. Look what you're getting from that. So if you elect me, I'm going to continue to keep the gravy train rolling, right? I'm going to raise taxes on everybody. I'm going to keep pumping money.
You're not talking about a direct political contribution. You're talking about socialism. You're talking about socialism and wealth redistribution, motivating people to come out and vote for more socialism.
I'm mixing it up a little bit, but it has the same effect. I mean, people are
it might as well be a bribe.
Right and left.
Absolutely. It might as well be a bribe. A chicken in every pot is a bribe.
And can you show me in the Constitution where Congress has purview over retirement or medicine?
I can't show you where Congress has purview over the vast majority of the things they do.
No doubt about it.
Exactly. You guys
Thanks,
have a good
Dave,
night.
for the call. I appreciate hearing from you. Let's continue with your calls and thoughts. We've got Brian. He's calling from Minnesota, northern Minnesota, listening to WNMT. Hey, Brian.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good show.
Thanks, dude. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, I guess my thoughts are, a lot of these college kids and stuff are just following blindly what the left is trying to accomplish. This has been in the works for a long time. It started in school, all the kids in school, and worked all the way up to college, and they groomed them where they wanted them to be.
Now, what is the alt-left? That's maybe a term that's somewhat new.
I guess not. That's probably the wrong words. I mean, just the left.
Just the left. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no surprise.
It's coming.
Go ahead.
It's coming home to roost. But it's like these guys didn't do any of their didn't go to their history classes or something. I mean, who erected those statues? Well, I think the Democratic Party was the one that voted against segregation and the Freedom to Vote Act back in the 60s. I mean, you had sitting Klansmen on the Democratic side. I mean, go back to even Hillary Clinton, June 28th, 2010. Her ad is how she respected, and her mentor was a guy by the name of Bird, last name, and he was known to be in the Klan and everything else. I mean,
she certainly praised him. Here's what I think that most people on the left today and people in the Democratic Party don't really, that the arguments of sort of what the Democratic Party was doing prior to the 70s and that kind of thing don't resonate with them. They're like, that's ancient history, that the Southern strategy by the Republican Party sort of changed the way the parties are made up and those sort of things. I don't know whether it it's great for the base, right? Republicans love to hear this stuff, but I don't know that Democrats are really moved, touched, and inspired by it.
Yeah, I know. Well, just they want to tear down things that they put up, and I just don't think the kids realize what the history was.
The history. Yeah, that's probably true. Brian, thanks for sharing your thoughts tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. I can tell you, I don't know a whole lot about history. In government school, it was always the most boring class, and I never wanted to pay attention. It was almost like they purposely made it the least interesting class so people wouldn't know what it was.
History certainly can be boring. For me, it
depends how it's presented, I think.
Very exciting. Well, it's a bunch of stories, and they unlike any other subject in school. I mean, you think about grammar, you think about math, you think about all these other subjects. History is a compilation of stories, and if you can't make that interesting, you're just bad at this.
Yeah.
But it is no surprise to me that a socialist government education system that leads to another socialist government education system kicks out a bunch of educated socialists. I mean, duh.
The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We invite you to join us on the radio on Free Talk Live.
For P150, P150GA, P150NY, P150OK, P150TN, C250A, C250E, C250Q. Not available in all states. If New York or Colorado, call for a similar offer.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, call Physicians Mutual Insurance Company, 1-800-972-1059. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away, so you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. Call now for a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-972-1059. That's 1-800-972-1059. 1-800-972-1059.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-557-0158. That's 800-557-0158. Again, 800-557-0158.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com. Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, launching here. More of your calls coming up. You can share anything that you want here on Free Talk Live, though a lot of people have been commenting sort of as expected on the ongoing conflicts between Antifa and the racist right-wingers who had fought it out in Charlottesville, and there was hope that there would be no fighting today in Boston. Didn't sound like there was a whole lot, but there were some people who were misbehaving, according to Justin O'Donnell, who's a Libertarian Party member who was down there today to observe what had gone on with 25,000 people in the streets protesting a Nazi event that didn't actually happen. There was never actually a Nazi event planned. It was just a free speech rally that had people from all political perspectives that were planning to speak there. Unfortunately, the crowd didn't know what they were doing. They had just heard that there were going to be Nazis, so they came out to oppose the Nazis.
Well, this is an example of Antifa crying wolf.
Do you think Antifa managed to gin up 25,000 attendees?
Antifa's goal, yes. Antifa just got the best press they've ever gotten. The United States press is essentially saying, the President of the United States hasn't said enough about bad things about Antifa's enemies. Right? Now, they're saying all the lefties that came out with sticks and helmets and shields and all that stuff, they're defending America. The righties are bad, bad, bad. And Donald Trump ought to be ashamed. Now, look, I'm no Trump supporter.
Yeah.
Donald Trump should be ashamed. Not of that particular statement, though.
Yeah, it was interesting to see what was going on out there today, and I think that both sides are pretty despicable. But most of the people that were there.
Okay.
Right. Well, that's what we're told, at least.
That's my point. Is the Antifa
was there, but the
wolf.
Racists were not there.
And in this case, they're going to get one shot, and they ruined it. So they were upset that Sol Invictus was there. Antifa's stated goal, their number one stated goal, is to shut down these alt-right rallies. That's what they say they're there for.
And the rally
they don't
did get
say
shut
they're
down.
there to beat people with sticks. They say they're prepared to do whatever it takes to shut them down, and we've seen this over and over again, where they'll call venues and say, "You can't. Oh my God, I can't believe you're renting to a bunch of racists." And the venue's like, "We don't want to rent to racists. Oh my God, racists are bad." Right?
But in this case, it wasn't even an alt-right thing. It was just a free speech rally.
But they had scheduled Sol Invictus.
But then they stopped this. They withdrew him from the schedule.
That is why I'm saying that Antifa cried wolf. And it's going to bite them in the butt. They had their best week from a standpoint of PR, and they just squandered it, drawing 25,000 people out to an event where there were no Nazis.
But they won't know that. The 25,000 people won't have any idea that there was no Nazis there. They've been told that this was a Nazi rally, right? That those were Nazis over there. There was the police had a big cordon off area.
Where were the Nazi flags? When you went to Charlottesville, you got to see Nazi flags and USSR flags. You knew what the sides were. The two deadliest philosophies of the 20th century went down to Charlottesville, and they hurt each other. Good.
You're giving these people too much credit. The 25,000
all right, so there's 25,000 stupid people that didn't see one swastika that are, went home really happy.
They came out to speak out against, Nazis, and that's what they did.
There weren't any, and they couldn't find any.
But that doesn't matter. Most of them weren't even able to get close enough to the location where the actual speechifying was going on.
You would go out to an event for 6 hours and sit there and to find Nazis and I wonder where the Nazis are. I don't see any Nazis.
I mean, I would I would try to find them.
You're not going to give these people.
There's 25,000 people there.
Half of the credit, Ian?
No, you can't even get close to this place, Mark. If what these people were told was, "Hey, come out to Boston Common. There's going to be a Nazi rally there." People are like, "My God, Nazis! We need to make signs. We need to go out there. We need to be seen. We need to let people know that we in Boston do not appreciate racism and Nazis. We don't appreciate that." So they made their signs. They came out with their creative stuff or whatever, and they came out there and they did their thing. If they wanted to know for sure whether there were Nazis, they could have tried to make their way to the front of the 25,000 people. I mean, did you see the pictures of the thronging thousands of people in the streets of Boston? You couldn't possibly, if you'd arrived any time after 9 a.m., you couldn't possibly get to where the speech zone was going to verify whether or not there were even Nazis there in the first place. So probably 90% of the people who were in attendance, they came out, they spoke against Nazis, they waved some signs, and they went home. Yeah, to themselves. That's what you do.
Making my point that they are going to feel dejected and demoralized about going to the next event. They're going to say to themselves,
I don't think there's any evidence for that.
They're going to say to themselves, "Oh, I made this sign. I went out there. I spent a lot of time."
Well, protests are generally a demoralizing thing because you don't ever change anything.
Antifa blew their shot.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Bunch of liars.
Well, I don't think most people even knew. Probably most of those people don't even know who Antifa is, would be my guess. Let's go on here to your calls and thoughts.
The news.
All they heard about was that there was going to be Nazis in town, and they went out to protest that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Let's go to Scott in Tallahassee. You're on Free Talk Live. listening to WVFT FM. Hello, Scott.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, what's on your mind tonight?
Hey, I think there's a third group that people aren't talking about, and I think, the media is missing altogether. And I just want to let you guys know I've listened for a while, but I'm a first-time caller.
Thanks.
So bear with me. I'm a little nervous. But
Go ahead.
I never in a million years, I'm in my 40s, and I never in a million years could ever imagine people getting together and desecrating a war memorial. I could not believe when I saw that the other night.
I think the war memorial you're talking about was the one on the college campus in
North Carolina?
North Carolina. We're not talking. I just want to make it clear. The Robert E. Lee statue that was the center of the Charlottesville.
Yeah, that wasn't vandalized.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't like that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And there's millions of us out here that just we don't believe in stuff like that, and that you would never have thought. And I don't care whether you agree or disagree. These were soldiers, men that were following orders. Most of them were poor. The vast majority were poor. Never would have owned a slave. They didn't like slavery.
Couldn't afford a slave.
You couldn't. And they were following orders. And on top of that, they're fighting against an army invading their homes, invading their land. So it's kind of hard to go against something like that. And
I can go against people following orders every time. I mean, I will go against that every time.
Yeah,
there was a great deal of honor.
Orders that are,
so it was a different time.
That are just,
at World War I.
To me and to millions of us out here, it's cultural genocide is what the hard left is doing. And the hard right, and the problem is the hard right, they don't speak for us either. They don't.
What's cultural genocide about it?
For me.
Can you make it clear? So I understand. I was very angry when I saw that statue come down. But can you articulate what you mean by the statement cultural genocide?
You're talking about historical. Destroying the people. If you look at whether it's Alinsky or Hitler or whoever, every one of them, the hard left and the hard right, they do exactly the same thing. If they don't like someone, the first thing they do is they teach the children and take the history away. The second thing they do is physically destroy that history and culture. The third thing they do is they start to physically destroy the people.
Scott, thanks for your call tonight. I really appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number, if you want to join us, 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves, bring up what you want, and we got more on the way with your calls and thoughts here on Free Talk Live's live Saturday show.
Welcome aboard. Your new science fiction adventure is ready to launch. Discover an amazing journey at GalaxyQuestBooks.com. Start a new sci-fi adventure with the Guardian series, a classic sci-fi mystery that starts 500 years in the future. From author D. Arthur Gussner. Series available from Barnes & Noble or Amazon as paperback or ebooks. GalaxyQuestBooks.com, where the adventure begins.
North Korea openly threatens the U.S. and launches a new missile every other week. Their warhead of choice? Electromagnetic pulse. Such an event would cripple the U.S. power grid for years and leave millions in the dark. Are you ready? You can be with a Solarc EMP-hardened solar generator. Solarc works day in and day out to keep all of your essentials protected. That means you can have peace of mind knowing your power will be there when you most need it. Visit solarc.us to see EMP testing. That's solarc.us. Energy insurance for your family.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You just told me something during the break, Mark, that seemed like a pretty big statement. You've changed your mind. You say the statues have to go. Now, I don't know where you're coming from on that. I want to hear more about it, but we've got loads of calls, so maybe we can talk more about it later or tomorrow night.
You can't just say that and not let me give some kind of explanation.
Briefly, but I don't want to get into too deep. I've got people waiting patiently here, and also I need to tell you about the mining pool over at pool.bitcoin.com. If you've been thinking about getting into Bitcoin mining, you can forget about all the hassles of equipment upgrades and the technical know-how that you would need to do it. Generally, you can just join over at pool.bitcoin.com like Mark and I do. There's a 100% uptime guarantee. You can decide whether you want to mine regular Bitcoin, the old style, or the new Bitcoin Cash. It's up to you. Pool.bitcoin.com is where you can go to get started. All you have to do is put your investment in of whatever size you want. There's a large range of options and a large range of or number of different time frames that you can invest over, and then hopefully you'll make a little bit on the back end. So you can actually use their calculator to try to figure out what you might make over at pool.bitcoin.com. Again, that's pool.bitcoin.com. So you were talking positively about the statues on previous shows, but now you're saying you've changed your mind. The statues have got to go.
I still feel positively about the statues. I'm going to just give my brief synopsis at the beginning of the next segment. So hold on for that, and then we can talk about it in length tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time here on Free Talk Live.
All right, let's continue here with your calls and thoughts. We go to Doug in Chicago. Doug, you're on Free Talk Live, listening via the TuneIn app.
Yeah, I don't think Mark could be any more on the money with Antifa. They came under my attention about a year ago. Before I get to that real quick, I got to make clear that I don't agree with, the alt-right and the KKK. They're pitiful people.
Right.
They're repugnant.
You shouldn't have to say that.
I should.
This is what's happened to America.
Right.
Like
you are
correct. The narrative is so strong out there that if you're not a leftist, you're a racist. Like, those are the two choices you get to get.
I go on the Chicago Tribune here, which, we're much more liberal here in Chicago and New York and Washington and L.A. And it can be like anybody bringing up that you might not agree with the alt-right and the KKK, but they have the right to be hateful, are immediately labeled, oh, well, you're a KKK member, you're an alt-right member,
nuts.
You're in favor of, look, that group, they actually, the far left, the Fantisha, they actually don't believe, and during Trump, I don't like Trump, I'm a libertarian, but they actually advocated that anybody in the alt-right should be punched in the mouth. They should be prevented from marching. They should be prevented. Right. And
everybody's a Nazi.
Right. The problem with that can be that now they're making the umbrella larger all the time. You know what I mean? Originally it began with people only in the KKK. Then it moved over to if you're a Trump backer. If you're a Trump backer, you should be punched in the jaw. You should be taken out. Now we're moving into, well, if you believe in your freedom to give your opinion, and we don't agree with it, well, you should be taken out.
Yeah, anybody that's using violence to oppress other opinions is an indicator that they've got a real bad opinion themselves.
Here's my recommendation to any leftist that thinks this is a good idea. Leave Massachusetts, Illinois, California, New York, and New Jersey, and go and punch some righty in the mouth. Because pretty quickly, you're going to find somebody who's armed. And that's going to take care of that problem.
I really fear for where we're going in the future. The fact that Antifa, they are growing. You know, look here, they're a global network. Okay, in Germany, I don't know if you're aware of it, but in Germany, if you put anything hateful online, German government will come in, kind of like they do for you for marijuana here in America. They will beat down your door and they will haul you off handcuffed.
Oh yeah.
Great Britain, the UK, they're putting $2 million, equivalent to $2 million, into monitoring internet traffic to make sure that the people of the UK do not put anything hateful online. People need to be very fearful here. Who will determine what will be hateful and what will not in the future? You know, your version of hateful and my version of hateful can be different. But again, I'm not trying to defend Cantwell. I mean, you brought up a really good point there. Whenever you bring that up, people on the left are automatically trying to label you that, you know, you're either on Team A or Team B. You cannot critically think. You cannot form your own opinion. You have to pick a team. And I don't operate that way.
Doug, thanks for sharing your thoughts tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. And I agree with what he was saying there in that this is a very slippery slope. And the reason why speech needs to be defended, even the most offensive speech, is that if you go after somebody for the things that they're saying because it's so bad, well, then don't be surprised if somebody else decides to go after the things that you say someday because they consider that your speech is bad or unpopular, or it has become unpopular. It wasn't now, but maybe it will be in another half a decade or whenever. And then by that time, you've already got the precedent of other people having their speech cracked down upon, so there's nobody who's going to be able to stand up for you and the things that you were saying. And that, you know, again, comes back around to the story that I brought in tonight where the DNS provider Godaddy pulled the DNS information for the website for the Daily Stormer.
And by pulled, you essentially made it means that they made it impossible for people to get to the Daily Stormer.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much near impossible for anybody entering their website URL, which I don't know what it was.
And I wouldn't want to give it if we did.
Yeah. Their new one ends in .lol, so they did get another one from some other DNS provider. But, you know, that took them offline for a few days, however many days it took them to get that back going. And, I mean, while certainly companies can run things how they want, I think that taking somebody's DNS records away, that feels like it crosses a line. In fact, the EFF says this about it, quote, because internet intermediaries, especially those with few competitors, control so much online speech, the consequences of their decisions have far-reaching impacts on speech around the world. The EFF made a scathing post about this, though it harshly condemns hate speech of any kind. The EFF's post argues that domain suspension is too broad of a weapon to use against hate speech because, quote, it makes everything hosted on the domain difficult or impossible to access, and it has a high likelihood of blocking speech that wasn't targeted. The main concern expressed by the EFF is that eliminating websites full of hate speech is a slippery slope. Quote, we might well face a world where every government and powerful body would see itself as an equal or more legitimate invoker of that power. That makes the domain name system unsuitable as a mechanism for taking down specific illegal content, as the law sometimes requires, and a perennially attractive central location for nation states and others to exercise much broader takedown powers.
Agreed.
So, you know, This is a very dangerous thing to do here. Let's continue with your calls and thoughts. Again, the best answer to offensive speech is more speech. You don't like what somebody says on their website? Leave a comment. Or if they don't allow comments, start your own website. Put your own opinions out there. Get a YouTube channel up, or go with a more decentralized option like LBRY or whatever else is out there. There are choices, and the choice that we should be using shouldn't be to eliminate other people's ideas entirely, even though they might be despicable. But let's continue here with your calls and thoughts. Bob in Myrtle Beach, listening to WRNN AM. Go ahead, Bob. Bob, Myrtle Beach.
Gentlemen.
Hey.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, we got you. Go ahead.
All right. Listen, when I'm 60 years old, I'm a retired public safety officer, and I also am a veteran in the United States Navy. The first time since President Trump has been president that any kind of riot had both sides really, at fault was Charlottesville, okay? And the people don't realize that when I was growing up, the Communist Party was the enemy. And these anti-fascist people are the fascists. They are acting like fascists, and they're claiming they're the anti-fascists.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you what, we are going down the wrong road.
Yep,
And,
I'm with you.
You know what I mean? Like we're labeling people. They're labeling themselves. Oh, we're anti-fascist.
Yeah, and it's
We're gonna act
dishonest.
like
It's dishonest labeling. You're absolutely right about that.
Communism, but we're acting like the communists did.
Yeah, they're like
communists
fascists
were the
mixed
biggest-
with communists. They're like the worst of both worlds.
They were carrying the flags.
Thanks for the call, Bob. There's more coming up.
Warning, if you've recently declared bankruptcy, you're going to want to cover your ears, because there's an alternative to bankruptcy, and it could be better than you'd ever think possible. But if you've already declared bankruptcy and have missed this opportunity, you'll want to cover your ears now. Here it is. Right now, the company that has resolved more credit card debt than anyone in the U.S. may be able to settle your debt too. You could resolve your debt with one low monthly program payment. If you call right now and qualify, Freedom Debt Relief will show you how low your monthly program payment could be for free. Call now, 1-800-660-1581. That's 1-800-660-1581. If you're struggling with debt, this could be your answer. And the bigger your debt, the more money you could save. To find out for free how much of your hard-earned money Freedom Debt Relief could help you save, call now. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581.
Are you tired of paying fees and commissions to that other site? I know you are. And I'm here to tell you about a great alternative to sell your stuff. BuySellMakeOffer.com is the best-selling site to ever come along. It doesn't matter what you're selling, big or small, it's easier than ever. And you can use Skype to show your items and get to know your potential buyer, and they can see that you are for real. No more blind trust. And you're not limited to snapshots. You can video what you're selling to better sell it fast. For as little as $9.95, and that's after a free 30 days, you can sell everything you no longer want with absolutely no fees, ever. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and become part of a community of buyers and sellers who have already discovered this revolutionary way of getting it sold online. That's BuySellMakeOffer.com. You'll never regret making the switch. BuySellMakeOffer.com. So, what are you waiting for?
The Relationship Pro talks to your girlfriend so you don't have to.
We're joined today in our demo center by Eric and Pam, a couple that's been teetering on the edge of divorce for years.
So, Pam, you guys have been using the controller all morning. I understand it's a very good listener.
It's like talking to a fully developed person. It's got to be a major relief, not needing your husband to be your partner or a friend. Oh, yeah.
So, Eric, it must be a tremendous relief to know that there's someone else on the other end of Pam's eye rolls.
Oh, now I can focus on my game instead of worrying about all that stuff she said there.
Will the Relationship Pro keep you two together?
I think it'll drag this thing out for another couple months.
Amazing. Now, to thank you two for coming on the show, we bought you two the new Deluxe Relationship Pro Extreme.
This expanded model has 2 new modes. Fantasy mode, which allows you to select the age and nationality of the controller's voice.
Oh, I choose a voice like my dad's.
Okay. And a hyper-realistic mode that starts fights and then grovels pathetically when it's afraid you might get rid of it.
This is the Onion News Network.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free and bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username is lrn.fm. Tonight with you, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Of course, we're going to get back to your calls and thoughts. You can always join us online anytime you want. Just go to freetalklive.com. We're big fans of cryptocurrency here on Free Talk Live. If you have some you'd like to send over to us as a donation, you can do that. Just go to our crypto page over at bitcoin.freetalklive.com. That's bitcoin.freetalklive.com. There's a donation options there for Bitcoin and Dash and others via Shapeshift. But you need to have a wallet, of course, before you can send anybody any cryptocurrency. And we are using the official wallet of Free Talk Live. You can check that out over at jaxx.io, jaxx.io. It can hold Bitcoin, Ether, Dash, and a bunch more cryptocurrencies. It's got Shapeshift integration built right into it, and it was created by Anthony DiOrio, who is one of the founders of Ethereum. They made it easy to back up your wallet and recover your funds with Jaxx. Jaxx is striving to give you command over your digital life. It's coins, contracts, currencies, identity, and more. That's their vision for the future over at Jaxx, your digital command center in the palm of your hand. It's Jaxx, the official wallet of Free Talk Live, jaxx.io.
So I teased that I would talk about what my change on the opinion is regarding Confederate statues is, and I certainly will briefly. We've got plenty of calls. I just want to briefly state it. First off, I'm from the South. It took me a while to come to this conclusion. I just came to it a couple of days ago, and it's taken me a little while to sort of wrap my head around it. First off, statues aren't history. Statues are sort of a result of history. Statues are generally, they're art, and art points things out, right? And statues of Confederate soldiers aren't pointing out the atrocities of slavery. They're pointing out the heroism and honor of men that fought and died for their country, or their region, their tribe, whatever they might call it. And that's fine. But taking down these statues isn't an assault on your heritage. These statues, and I believe all the statues from that era. So if we're going to take down Confederate statues, by God, let's take down the Yankee statues too. All of them. If you're willing to make that compromise.
That's what I said. Take it all down.
Yeah, but you say it because you're an a-hole, right? Like you're just like, I don't like soldiers and blah.
Yeah, I don't want to see war statues. And I'm not the only one. Let's go back to your calls and thoughts.
That don't have to do with the Civil War.
Keep them on your own damn property. I'm not interested in seeing any of them. Let's go to Deborah in Albuquerque, listening to Kiva. Hello, Deborah.
Hello.
Hey there.
Just wanted to say that the Antifa, if you ever go to some of these resist groups that they have meetings all over the nation now.
Never been to one.
They're being funded Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Go to one of them.
But I haven't. Okay.
Go to one of them. They do include using violence. They do cover their identities, so nobody will know who they are. That's not their first mode of apparatus, but they will if they have to. And some of them are more inclined to do it than others. But I don't know if you remember back in 2012, there was a group of kids on this island out in Norway that got killed.
Yeah.
Several of them got shot up. Okay.
That's terrible.
A horrible situation. But they were being trained. These groups are being trained to what they call resistors. They call them the anti-fascists, but they truly are what they call disruptors. So they go around to disrupt. They bring chaos. They can bring violence, but they're trying to take down the establishment. That's what they're really for. That's what they formed for. They're trying to take down the establishment. But if you peel back that onion and look at who's behind them and who's supporting them and who's training them, the people are mostly communists, mostly Nazis. They come from other countries, and that's where most of this has started from. And
you said they're
they
Nazis? The Antifa,
Some of them are Nazis.
the Antifa people are Nazis?
Some of them are Nazis. But what they're doing is, it's called the end justifies the means. They will do anything they can to disrupt the capitalistic free society that we have. And it's a kind of a catchphrase, just like the other gentleman said. They're saying they're anti-fascist, but they truly are fascists. They are trying to disrupt our country, and they wear masks to hide themselves, and they bring chaos. That's their number one goal, is to bring chaos and disrupt. They disrupt everything that they come in contact with. And that's what their main goal is to do.
All right. And you've been to their meeting, you said? You've been to one of their meetings? Interesting.
Yes, and I talked to them. And they don't know who I am, but that's, if you go to some of their meetings and you don't let them know who you are, you will hear what's really coming from their heart and their mind.
How old are the people at these meetings?
They range. They're anywhere from college age really up to in their 40s and 50s.
Okay.
And they do get paid. A lot of them get paid.
From who?
There are people who are training. Well, I've been trying to find that out. The only sources that I can think of is supposedly Clinton gave some of these groups $800,000 or some odd $1,000, but George Soros. There are several other groups. I haven't put those connections together yet, so I'll be honest.
Well, Deborah, thank you for sharing your experience. Appreciate hearing from you tonight. It's kind of a surprise to say that Nazis are behind the Antifa group. I mean, I guess if you're a Nazi, you are a National Socialist, right? Nazi means National Socialist, and there are socialists in the Antifa group. Anyway, let's go to continue with your calls and thoughts here. We got Bill. He's in Greenwood, Indiana, listening to WIBC. Hello, Bill.
Hi, how are you, sir?
Welcome. You're on the air. I'm doing great. Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, I'm concerned about these taking down these Confederate statues. Here's my belief. The people that fought in the Civil War on both sides, and even the Confederate, they were, God-fearing people. What people don't realize, it was 500,000 lives lost in this war, more than all the other American wars combined.
Yep, more than every other war combined.
And they were doing it with just simple little rifles, know?
And most of it was disease, but still.
This might be pretty simplistic, but I'm just an average working stiff. But to me, all you need to do is to put a disclaimer on these Confederate statues that says, these people believed in their cause at the time, and although it wasn't right, something to that effect, but we need to honor them for their sacrifice in the name of what they believed in. Because otherwise, they need to do the same thing with George Washington's statue and Thomas Jefferson. They owned slaves. George Washington owned 300 slaves.
I say take them all down. I think that anybody who loves those statues ought to pay for them and put them on their own private property. I think that's the
I don't
solution.
know. That's desecration of people that gave their lives.
Paying for the statue and putting it on private property is desecration?
We are talking about auctioning off the statue and using the money to pay off the debt that the government has created and putting the statue on private property. By God, I think the VFW and the DAV and the American Legion and a variety of other clubs will do a fine job hosting these statues.
Yeah.
They do a good job.
Take better care of them, probably.
Cannons, howitzers, and tanks on their place. They'll do fine with a Robert E. Lee statue.
Thanks, Bill, for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Doug is in New Jersey. Doug, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Mark.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Doug.
I am Doug, S-I-T-T-E-L. I have a YouTube
It's
channel.
You. Yeah, the guy who constantly promotes his YouTube channel and the rambling, lengthy recordings that you have on there. What new story do you want to bring to us tonight?
I had Charlottesville happen to me in Charleston. There's a picture of a hand over a drink. I arrived in Charleston, and they picked me up and said, look,
They threatened you, and you were working with a court, and they threatened you, and so you kept working with them, and you got all these recordings, and you called us from jail, and there you go. That brings our listeners up to speed. Thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate it. All right, there you go. You can go listen to his crazy YouTube channel if you can find it. Oh, hey.
If you didn't get the name, you can go to our archives at freetalklive.com. We've got archives.
He did say his name there in the
He did,
that call.
and I'd prefer not to spell it for you. But I could after having as many calls as we had. But you can go to freetalklive.com. We've got the last 7 days right there on the front of the website.
I'm actually really sad I took his call instead of Sarah first. Sarah in New Mexico. If I'd known it was that guy, I would have taken you first. Sarah, go ahead with your thoughts.
Oh, as I mentioned, that Edgar Casey had prophesied that Atlantis will resurface. So after the completion...
Is that going to happen after the total eclipse or whatever? What's supposed to be happening? Isn't there some kind of eclipse this weekend?
Monday at 2 p.m.
No, I'm looking at the polar switch. When we had that, all of the Atlantis...
So the eclipse, then the polar switch, then Atlantis rises from the Earth? Or from the ocean?
Well, it's going to be pushed back up. All the places that were islands and
now what's going to sink? Because if Atlantis comes out of the ocean, then is something else going to get, like, is Florida going to be covered by water again once that happens?
I hope so.
I'm sorry, we're out of time. I shouldn't have asked. You can call us another time, as I'm sure you will, Sarah. We'll see you another time tomorrow, probably. In the meantime, online at freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Godaddy.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Refrigerated Cookie Dough. Who would you bake some love for? Find fun and easy baking ideas at tollhouse.com. Kids love doing arts and crafts projects, especially when you join in. Try channeling all that artistic energy into the kitchen and bake up some creative treats together. Think of your art supplies as the frosting, sprinkles, and decorating gels, and use cookies or cupcakes as your canvas. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. you can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit, did your nerves spike? You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm. The Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM presents the latest episode of The Voluntary Life. Download it and listen to more at thevoluntarylife.com.
You're listening to The Voluntary Life, where you can hear ideas for finding freedom in an unfree world. Visit thevoluntarylife.com to connect with the show and hear all past episodes. Here's your host, Jake.
Hi, it's Jake here. Welcome to The Voluntary Life. This week's episode is about productivity. It's a discussion I had with one of the patrons of The Voluntary Life about getting into the habit of doing weekly reviews and some of the difficulties that you can encounter when you take on a productivity system, such as the Getting Things Done approach. This discussion is a recording taken from the live stream that I do monthly with patrons of The Voluntary Life. And I've just released another really interesting discussion to my patrons as a bonus podcast, also from the live stream, this discussion about the topic of ending friendships. So if you're interested in getting that bonus episode and all the other episodes, please do support The Voluntary Life by becoming a patron at patreon.com/thevoluntarylife. Or you can find a link to that on my website, thevoluntarylife.com. I want to say a big thank you to the new patrons who've signed up over the last week. They are Joan R. and Chris H. So now I'm going to play you the recording of this discussion about getting into doing the weekly review. The audio was bad in the very beginning of the discussion, so the recording I'm going to play you starts just after the beginning of our conversation, but you can understand what we're talking about, and we've only just begun talking about the challenges of establishing a habit of doing a weekly review as part of a new productivity system. So I hope you enjoy hearing this, and without further delay, here is our discussion.
Often I tend to focus on the little tasks which are easy to tackle, and dedicating time for the bigger picture is something that doesn't happen so often. And as I started working again, I have now limited time. So I'm wondering if you can recommend when is the best time to do them, especially the weekly reviews, because they need some preconditions, like having a couple of hours and having a certain state of mind to really think about the project and the bigger picture.
Yes. Okay. So basically, you're having difficulty getting around to doing the weekly review, and you're also thinking, when is the best time? How could you make this easier? What would be the good time to do it, and that kind of thing? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Great question. Now, let me just ask you, what is in your weekly review? What does that mean to you? What are you actually doing?
Well, I have a checklist of things that I do, and it's reviewing my projects, also looking at my areas of focus. I have tried also the mind mapping, and I empty my email box and I go through my bank accounts. So I'm trying to clear everything.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, I also found it very hard everyone finds it very hard to get into the habit of doing weekly reviews. So this is not unusual. This is one of the really difficult things about getting things done, is that there's so many different habits, and you've sort of taken on a whole system all at once, and that is a lot of work. And so basically, this is quite normal. Oh, and by the way, I also wanted to just mention your audio is way better now. So whatever you're doing now, that's great. It's like 10 times better.
Yeah.
So
I'm just sitting still and I'm not.
Okay, good. So everyone has this problem. And so I've got a few thoughts about it. Firstly, you just have to keep going back to doing this. You're going to fall off the wagon. You're going to stop doing a weekly review or miss it 1 week or something. You just have to really have the persistence to, even when you stop doing it, to get back to doing it. So don't expect this to just click in and be, something that, okay, now you are doing easily every week. That's not the way it's going to happen. So this will happen. However, I do have some suggestions to make it easier. So the first thing is, when you have the weekly review, here's something that worked for me. I found it to be such a huge amount of stuff to do in a weekly review. And as you mentioned, it takes some different types of mentality as well. Not only are you clearing all your inboxes, but you're also trying to plan out, your future creative projects and get an overview of your life and stuff. So basically, one thing that you might find it helpful to do is to split this review up into 3 different parts: the clear review, the current review, and the creative review. Have you heard that terminology before?
No.
Okay. So the idea is this, that when you do a weekly review, there's 3 things that you're wanting to do. The first is you want to clear all your inboxes, and this is the clear review, right? So essentially, when you do this is just a matter of, like you said, something about checking your bank balances, and you want to clear make sure you get to inbox 0 and all of that. This is basically tidying up work that you have to do, just to make sure that stuff is not accumulating that you haven't processed and decided what it is. And so this is one aspect of the weekly review. Now, when I found the weekly review getting too much for me, what I did was break it up, and I decided to do all of that stuff on one day. So I for example, I did that on the Thursday, and I just took some time and I did all of the tidying everything away, getting to inbox 0, working out, all of the stuff that had accumulated and checking everything that needed to be checked, and the basic maintenance tasks that I wanted to get out of the way. So that when you've done that, that is almost one particular piece of work that requires a certain mindset. And it's not a creative mindset. It's more just like, this is you being your own secretary and essentially making sure that you empty inboxes and work out if you had little scraps of paper or notebooks that you had ideas that you've gone through and checked all of that. So you get all of that out of the day, and then try doing the other stuff on the next day or on another day, right? So, for example, for me, what I did is I did all the getting clear stuff I did on a Thursday. Then on the Friday, what I would do is do the current review. And that's where you go through your projects and you make sure that you know what your next actions are, and you make sure that you know everything that you're doing on all the projects. Now, if you really want to split it up, you can also, rather than do everything on the Friday, you can do all of the stuff related to your current projects on the Friday, which is essentially you're in executive mode. You're going through and making sure that you know what you need to do. You're making sure that you know what your next actions are on all projects. But there is a third aspect to the review, which is the creative review. And that's, for example, when I look through my Someday Maybe list. and think about, like, is there anything on here that does this spark anything for me? Just reading through my someday maybe projects. And for example, I look in my creative review, I look at the wish lists that I have on Amazon and on Audible, and look at the books that I'm thinking about reading, and all of these more future oriented, forward looking stuff. So when I was splitting these things up, I would do that on a Saturday, and that would be like my Saturday morning, more like a weekend thing. It was more creative. Mm-hmm. And so I split. So my weekly review was actually 3 different sessions. You might find it useful to do that. And that helped me a lot because it meant that I could get into the right frame of mind for each of these different sessions and not be overwhelmed by just trying to do everything all at once. Mm-hmm. So that's my first suggestion. I've got a couple of other thoughts, but before I get onto them, does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I found it very difficult to switch between these modes of thinking. And I would do much more of the cleaning stuff because it just felt good, and it just felt incredible to delete emails and just to close loops.
Yes.
And then for the more creative tasks, I need some time to get into this mood, and it doesn't just happen like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that could really help you. And also, you know what? The other good thing is that if you were saying that you tended to focus on the cleaning tasks because they were, in a way, the easier thing to do, then this is also a little bit of discipline for you, because it means you've got one day, like the Thursday, for example, where you're going to do all of that stuff. But when it comes to Friday, you know that's done, right? Now it's time to switch mindsets, and now you have a different task in mind. And that, in a way, will give you a fresh start on the other things. Mm-hmm. The other thought I had, though, was you mentioned that one of the things that you're trying to do is mind maps. Now, one of the difficulties of the weekly review, is there's only so much you can get done without this turning into just an enormous task. And I think if you're actually doing mind maps, that is more like project work than doing a review. So just explain to me, what mind maps are you doing in a weekly review?
Well, it's for me, it was more like trying the tool, and I did one which I put my name in the middle, and then I tried to map my whole life.
Yes.
And this, in a way, helped me also identify my areas of focus.
Yes.
And then I have done one for a work project, and I think that was it.
Right.
I think still I need to play some more with it to find the real benefits, because it's at the moment I just write these things and they're there and it doesn't bring me anything. But maybe I have to find out exactly in what cases it's helpful.
Well, my suggestion for you would be this. When you're doing a weekly review, it's always difficult to know how much should you be doing on each individual project, because ultimately you could spend an hour on each project doing good project planning work. And if that's the task that you get in each weekly review, then it will take you a day to do a weekly review, right? So it'll become totally overwhelming. So the way that I think about it when I'm doing the weekly review is, when you review your projects, you've got to answer this one question. Do I know what the next action, do I have a good next action on this project? Do I know what the next thing is to do, right? And there is always a hell of a lot more project planning that you need to do, but that's work that you actually have to find time for to work on your projects during the week or something, you know what I mean? So, for example, if you want to do some planning work which involves doing for a particular project, doing a mind map or something, I would do that when you're working on the project. Treat that as project management time for the project. In your weekly review, obviously do as much as you can, but the criteria for how much to do is this. You want to go through all of your live projects and you want to make sure you know what the next action is. If you at least know what the next action is, then you're able to continue working on that project. It's not stalled. You know what you're doing. And maybe sometimes the next action might be, I need to do a mind map of this project to get my head around what I'm trying to do or something like that. But just defining the next action is the thing to do. As far as a mind map for your areas of focus is concerned, that is an extremely helpful thing to do. And I do that. And I actually do that I kind of do that every week. So I do understand what you're doing with that in your weekly review. The way I do it is I look at all of the projects that I've got, and I make sure I know which area of focus they're all attached to, so that I've got a picture of how all these projects fit together in terms of the different areas of focus of my life. And the one thing I would say on that is, if you're finding that at the moment a bit difficult, or if you find that it's taking too much time, that mind map of your areas of focus, that will get easier and easier. Because once you've started to map out your areas of responsibility, then, you know, and then when you first start, you're kind of finding your way and not really thinking about it. But once you've realized that, you know, you have an area of responsibility for finance and an area of whatever it is, then it's not like you're going to forget that. So it's very slow at first, but it gets faster and faster. So basically, just crack on, and you'll find that that part will get easier and easier.
Yeah, I believe that. And I think the whole system, it needs some time to organically develop.
Yes.
And I'm already getting the benefits, and I think it would further grow. But just at this stage, some of the concepts are still not so clear.
Yeah, well, this is what everyone experiences with GTD, and this is the most difficult phase, because everyone starts getting into having a productivity system, and then there's this first enthusiasm, which is like, oh, this is great, this is going to be so good. And you go through it for a week and you feel so much better because you've cleared your inboxes and you've done some project reviews, and then you realize that there's actually a lot of work involved in getting the system started and in maintaining it, and that amount of work gets less and less over time. But you just have to get through the first adoption phase, where all of these things they're not muscle memory yet. I mean, now these are all habits that are so ingrained for me that it's easy, and it will get to be that way too. But you've just got to get through that phase where everything is still a bit, where you have to remind yourself, what am I doing again? What's the purpose of this habit? I don't really, it's just all quite exhausting. And so it is a bit of a pain, this phase, but there's great stuff once you get through it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And also it's a journey of self-discovery in a way, and discovering your own patterns. For example, I found out that I like ticking off boxes, and sometimes I would just write some tasks just to tick them off.
Right.
And it's really easy for me to get lost in these little things.
Yes.
And going up for the bigger picture is something that I need to put some effort into.
Right. Well, it's fantastic to hear about your experience in taking it on. I get so much out of it that I'm always really pleased when people start adopting these habits, because I just think they're great.
Yes.
You said you had another question, but before we get onto that, is there anything else on the weekly review stuff that you thought was... Is there anything else you wanted to ask me about that?
Well, that's it. I think I have to try it again with my next review. And,
yes.
And really split the tasks.
Yeah, try splitting them up, because you might find that helps. The other thing, I've mentioned this before on episodes about GTD, but there is a podcast which is called the Getting Things Done Virtual Study Group. And the very early stages of that podcast, the very early episodes are quite good if you're interested in hearing about people trying to overcome difficulties adopting in GTD. It's basically like a group of people who are all doing GTD, and they're all adopting it, and they're all saying like, oh yeah, I really find it difficult to do my weekly review or whatever. So later on, they kind of changed the focus of the podcast, and I got totally bored with it, and I found that it had like 3 or 4 different people take over, and they took it in different directions, and frankly, I didn't find it any help at all. But if you can go back and listen to the very early episodes, you may find that some of that is encouraging, because you'll hear about people who are saying basically exactly what you've just said, and you kind of talking to each other about the different techniques that they've found helpful. And when I was really getting into it, that's something that I was listening to.
Great. I'll check it out.
All right, cool.
Thank you for listening to The Voluntary Life. If you like this podcast, please show your support by becoming a patron of The Voluntary Life on Patreon. Your support will help to grow and improve the show, and you'll get access to a treasure trove of rewards, including bonus episodes. Visit thevoluntarylife.com to learn more.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
The three most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations